Hello again! Oh my God, in case you didn't get enough of us the first time around, we're back for some more. This is Dan Frankie Goes Hollywood. My name's Dan.
I'm Frankie.
And
I'm Liam.
yeah, so yes, if you're
I hope that's
wondering,
going to work and everything's in the same order.
no,
You did point in the right direction on my screen. Are you in your
yeah,
screen?
that's Frankie.
Yes, no,
That's
me.
Liam. That's my cat back there. I'm Dan. In case you're wondering what is going on, there is a part one to this episode. This is part two because we didn't want people to sit there for like 9 hours straight listening to us talk and sing
I
and
know
be
seeing a long
amazing.
runtime can be off-putting, so I
It
thought two
can be.
shorter ones,
Yep, exactly.
less.
Two,
And if
two.
people don't care about what we've watched recently, they can just jump into this one.
They can. We're giving people a choice. We're just that nice. So yes, in case though that you haven't actually watched the first one, we've
Or
got
listen
Liam.
to.
Listen to, that's exactly. This is Liam. He's from the UK. He's an old friend of Frankie's. He used to have a podcast. He's really into movies, especially High School Musical, which is why we've got him here because he is the world's foremost expert on everything to do with the shut up Liam you are to do with those films and TV series which I didn't even know existed, but there you go, it's out there in the world. So yeah, so the first episode was we discussed all the things that we have been watching lately. We did some movie news, which is well worth checking out. So yeah, this time around we're going to be jumping back into trivia, which we haven't done in a while. We're going to do reeling in the years. We're going to talk about our homework films. It's going to be the most amazing podcast episode that has ever been recorded in the history of podcasts. Maybe. Disclaimer, possibly not. So anyway, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty keen to get my trivia on because I
Always fun.
I can't quite remember, but I think you might have been beating me the last time that we did this thing, which was quite a while ago. So, how about we bring in our regular trivia host, Mr. Nobbins, for Nobbins Knowledge, and here he is, as promised, Mr. Nobbins. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Daniel. As promised or as threatened?
Uh, let's say promised while you're here, and then as soon as you're
Thanks.
gone, we'll reveal the truth. But anyway,
Much obliged.
yeah, what's been happening?
Ah, not much. Just
Oh,
life stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Boring
it's
old life stuff.
Mm,
been a while since our
Mm.
last trivia, as you were saying before we recorded.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months, and
Uh,
but the score is still the same, so the score has not changed, surprisingly.
Oh, you didn't get that 20 I sent you in the mail
And what was our score?
yeah.
Currently it stands, Frankie, you are 29, and
Mm.
Daniel, you are lagging behind on 28.
Oh my
Wow, I
God, I got
forgot
so
that
much
that
catching up
happened.
to do.
That's right. There was something
The
topic that I did
rom-com
well. Yeah.
topic you did well in, and Daniel did not do so well.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, Nobbins, Liam Nobbins, yeah, we're just being so
Mm.
rude
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Oh,
It's nice
Liam.
to meet you. Hey, how's it going?
Yes, good.
So Liam's gonna just kind of stick around and yeah, just show us up for all the questions
Mm.
that we don't get
Yeah.
to answer because we're
I
just
The
thought
pressure.
about letting Liam join in to try and steal points from us, and then I thought, no, we need
no,
all the points we can get.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Right.
want my damn prize.
Try and
So no,
bite my tongue.
Yeah,
no
good idea.
criterion addition for Liam.
Yeah. No, look, it's fine. There's plenty of questions that we both of us are like, no, don't know. So yeah, you'll get your chance to shine. So Nobbins, how does this work? Being that you are the quiz master.
So Dan, there is
Hmm.
10 questions every trivia round,
Oh.
and they're on a topic of my choosing. You
Mm-hmm.
find out literally now what that topic is,
Don't
so
like
that
your
there's
expression right now.
nothing planned beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Every question is worth 1 point, so a maximum of 10 points per trivia session, and they
Right.
go on to the running total. And once we hit the nominated score, then either you or Frankie wins the prize.
Yay. All right.
So
So,
this week we've got 10 questions, as I mentioned before. Each
mhm.
one has four. multiple choice options. So if
Every
you
single one of them.
Oh,
every single one. So you can
Wow.
This will
either
be easy.
buzz in early and risk it, or if you buzz in early and get it wrong, then the
Mhm.
other person gets the rest of the options.
Right.
So they don't have to answer straight away.
Mhm.
So the topic is, we are recording over Easter weekend.
Mhm.
So I thought I'd pick the theme of Easter eggs in movies.
Ah, very good. Okay, I like this. And yeah, okay. All
This
right.
sounds
I,
hard.
I got a little knowledge.
Yeah, so there's some fairly obscure type questions in here, but we'll see how we go.
See why
So,
they're all multiple choice.
Ah,
yes,
for a moment there, I thought you were going to say that you'd pick the theme of religious movies, and I was going to be like, you know what? Yeah, okay, fine,
I
bye.
did
No.
I
Uh,
did start down that path, but then after question two, I thought this is too hard, and I thought
thank
a
God.
much better topic.
Get it? Never mind.
Indeed.
All right. I say we just jump straight in this. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Sure.
I loves my Easter eggs.
So,
What's our buzzers?
Oh yeah, what's up?
so Dan, you'll be Bunny,
Mm-hmm.
and Frankie, you'll be Easter.
Oh. All right. This
Have the
bunny is
harder
ready to
one.
hop. Oh God.
And away we go. So, question one,
hmm
what item is in every scene of Fight Club? Is it a Starbucks coffee cup, B, a can of Coca-Cola, C, a McDonald's Big Mac, or D, a packet of Skittles?
Bunny.
Yes, Dan.
I don't know 100% on this one, but I'm gonna lean towards a Starbucks coffee cup.
Correct.
Yes.
Every scene has
Hey,
a
I
Starbucks coffee
did
and
know
cup in
that.
it, whether you can see it or not, it was in the scene.
I have
That's
to think
weird.
that was one of those things that is just buried way back here
Yeah, it
and
stood out to me as well as some movie had that,
mm,
Mm,
but it is a weird choice.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
I
it's
was
David.
waiting for one of the options to be a bar of soap.
Yes, same. That's
That would have been
initially
it.
I thought, oh, it's got to be soap, right? But
Yeah.
then, yeah.
It was David Fincher's reference to consumerism,
hmm
which is obviously what the movie's
I
about.
haven't seen that movie for a million years.
Oh,
1,000,000 years. Wow.
hmm
Yeah.
I've not
Yeah.
been born that long.
Oh, Frankie has. She's been around for a while, man. This is
Feels like it.
why
I don't think I've seen it since it came out.
Frankie was around at the dawn of cinema, when movies were invented. Like, yeah, that's why
Mm.
she's seen so many.
So the first movie was at dawn. Oh, that's inconvenient for most people.
Anyway, question two. Here we go.
Question two. In the Godfather series,
Oh, fuck off.
what fruit is
Bunny,
used? Yes, Dan.
oranges.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the question is, what fruit is used to signify either an upcoming death of a character or a betrayal about to happen?
hmm
I just watched those, but I still don't think I would even got that.
Oh, wow.
I
That was
There you go.
quick.
didn't
Dan
pay
got there
attention.
quick.
I like this
That was very
topic. This is
quick.
good.
I'm
Well,
not good with details. I could never be a
yes.
detective.
If the rom-com was for Frankie, this one's for you, Dan.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Question three. In Tron, what video game character is discreetly placed in a scene where the characters are looking at the game map? Is it A, Mario, B, a Space Invader, C, Pac-Man, or D, an asteroid?
Bunny,
Yes, Dan.
would it be a space invader?
It would not be.
Damn it.
Pac-Man?
Yes, Frankie.
Well
Jeez.
done. Yay.
I like getting questions for movies I haven't even seen.
I didn't
So
know that one.
the game map is kind of a maze.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pac-Man being in the maze was a reference to that.
Ah, there you go. Hate that question.
Question four. Toy Story features a scene where the toys are held captive by Sid. The carpet in Sid's house is a
Bunny.
homage. Yes, Dan.
The Shining.
Yes, indeed.
I was
I'm so sorry, Frankie. I just
So
can't
the
risk
full
you
I
stealing
but my
points off me.
mind went straight there because I thought anytime you say carpet referencing something,
Mhm.
this is what I'm
Well,
gonna
is
go.
there another more iconic carpet than the Shining one?
I don't think so. Maybe the rug and the Big Lebowski, if you count
Oh,
that as a
God, I want to say
carpet.
something inappropriate, but anyway,
Yeah.
no, there is not. That's what I
A,
will say. There is not
a
no.
red carpet, maybe?
Oh,
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
potentially.
All right.
So yeah, the number 237 was also featured throughout Toy Story, which is
Mhm.
the room number that Jack was in The Shining.
Yep.
In the movie, it was different in the book. Bit of trivia for you
Yes.
there.
Oh.
But Stephen King hated the adaptation, so you know.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right.
Question 5. Captain America Winter Soldier features the supposed death of Nick Fury. What movie does a quote on his headstone reference? Is it A, The Long Kiss Goodnight, B, Pulp Fiction, C, Jungle Fever, or D, Unbreakable?
Funny.
Yes, Dan.
I'm going to say The Long Kiss Goodnight.
You would say that incorrectly.
You know why I picked that? Because I've got Letterboxd open on this screen right now, and where it says popular with friends, for some reason, The Long Kiss Goodnight is on there. And ordinarily, there would have been another movie that I would have picked, but I saw that and I thought, I'm going to be clever here, and
Mm,
I'm going
very
to think
Was
that
clever.
was
Nobbins
not a
looked that up.
sign.
So, damn it, I was a little too clever.
Um, I don't remember the other options, so I'll just say
So,
Unbreakable.
no, sorry.
No,
I was going to read out the other options for you,
that
but
doesn't
It
matter.
was
no.
Pulp Fiction, wasn't it?
It,
It was Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, damn
So,
it.
It's the like Ezekiel quote, isn't it?
yes, the Ezekiel quote's on the
Mm.
headstone. So,
It's really hard when you're reading them out, if I know it, to not just like nod. I'm having to like keep
okay,
my head
yes.
as
So,
straight
all
as I
right,
can.
should look at Liam.
I actually thought it was Pulp Fiction, but then, like I said, I saw this Long Kiss Goodnight thing, and why is it suddenly popular with friends? And that's when I just thought, yeah, damn it. Hmm. Anyway,
yeah, the perils of having Letterboxd open while
I
doing the
know, I
quiz.
know. I'm not actually using it, FYI, of course, but
Hmm
yeah, shut up. Anyway,
Question 6.
yes,
Which Queen of Horror had a cameo in the original Scream movie? Was it A, Linda
Bunny,
Belair? Yes.
Linda Blair.
Yes, it
She played
was.
a reporter.
She did.
Hmm.
Question 7. In Back to the Future, which time traveler or time travelers were given a shout out after Marty first came back to the 50s? Was it A, Doctor Who, B, Sherman and Peabody, C, Bill and Ted, or D, Kyle Reese?
Easter.
I know.
Yes, Frankie.
Um, the
Would you like me to read the options again?
second one.
Yes, that is correct.
Was it Sherman and Peabody?
It was.
Damn
I
it, that's
don't know
who
who
I
they
would have
are,
guessed.
but I just
Oh, come on. I grew up on the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, so
Exactly.
no.
Yeah.
that was why I was going to pick. What was the reference?
So the reference was when Marty McFly comes back, he crashes into the farmhouse. The farmer
Peabody.
calls out son Sherman,
Yeah.
and the mailbox says Peabody.
How the fuck did I never pick up on that? I've seen that movie like
So
3,000
many
times
times.
roughly, and I never even picked that up. My goodness. Thank
Yes,
you,
Frankie.
Nobbins.
Pleasure.
Wow. Interesting.
Hmm.
All right.
All right. Question 8. In the Well of Souls in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, it features hieroglyphics. They
Funny.
contain yes,
R2D2 and C3PO.
correct.
Ah, what a category. Can we just do this category every week?
In question 9, what film was teased in I Am Legend, despite it not
Funny.
coming out until years later? Yes, Dan.
Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Frankie, but it's not my fault.
It's just all these are all well, not all, but a lot of movies I haven't seen. So
And I am a big fan of Easter eggs, as you can see.
Okay, final question. In question 10, what did the cast and crew of the Rocky Horror Picture Show do before filming started on the film? Did they do Kris Kringle? Did they eat some hot cross buns? Did they have an Easter mass? Or did they do an Easter egg hunt?
Funny.
Easter.
Frankie?
I was so first, but you can have it. You
It's
can
all
have it.
right. I'm sure it'll be wrong. The last one. Easter
Correct.
egg hunt.
Yeah, I was going to say
They
because
did
that's the only one that's appropriate to the
exactly.
category. So,
So they did an Easter egg hunt, and three eggs weren't found, and they're actually in the final cut of the movie. You can see them.
so that's hence why okay,
An
yep.
Easter egg in the Easter egg.
Because I
Yeah.
was sort of thinking to myself at first, like, how is this? Okay, yep, no, that all makes sense now. Cool. Well
Okay,
done,
very good.
Frankie.
Okay, so the final score was Dan 6 and Frankie 3. So
Oh,
not too bad.
yeah.
Could have
How
been
did I only get
worse.
six? I thought I got like 9 or 11 or something. I don't
Oh,
know.
Hmm. Well, you
See, there's
didn't.
an Easter egg. There's a 9/11 reference. No, whoa, too
Wow.
soon. Anyway, sorry about that.
So the running total is Dan,
Yeah.
you're on 34, and
Mhm.
Frankie, you're on 32. Well done.
Oh, you didn't actually mention at the start, did you? Like what it's first two and stuff?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, I
Hmm,
wasn't paying attention.
clearly.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
We're still
That
about 100 off, so it's
yeah,
still a
yeah,
way to go.
exactly. Oh wow. By the time we get to this, physical media is going to be absolutely dead. It's just like the winner has to download the person a file from not Pirate Bay because that's naughty. Yeah, Nobbins, thank you very much. That
Pleasure.
was a very enjoyable category, that one.
I thought you
Um,
might like that one.
I
It
did
was,
like that one. I did like that one very much. Yeah, no, like I
but
said,
to show off your skills jumping in before the
I know,
answers.
I know. As soon as a Godfather, I was like, oh, wait a minute, this has got to be oranges. Yeah. Oh, I love that sort of stuff. Yeah, it always fascinates me when people put those sort of things in movies.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Here's a bonus one for you then, Dan.
Yeah.
In The Departed, what is shown to reference a death happening?
A lack of breathing, heart stopping, bullets entering vital organs.
No, whenever there's a death in Departed, there's an X on the screen.
Okay. I did not know that. I've only ever seen that movie once, and that was a very long
So
time ago.
I saw it.
I haven't
Yes.
seen it.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
what this episode shows is that Frankie should watch more movies.
I think so. I mean, she's been
I
around for
try.
a million years, but yeah. Maybe no, but it's not watch more, but she should pay more attention to the
Mm.
finer details. Like she should pause and go, wait a minute, is that R2D2 and C3PO in the back of the Well of Souls there? No, actually, I knew that one because I had when Raiders first came out, I had like a collector's magazine or whatever and stuff, and it was in there, like with a close-up shot of it and stuff like that, and it just blew my mind, of course, and so that always stuck with
Yeah,
me.
there you go.
Yeah, so there you go. All right. Well, Nobbins, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
That was a pleasure as always, especially because I won that round. And yeah,
I shall.
we will see you on the next one.
Shall go back to the Nobbins hole and yeah, continue on with my day.
You just bury yourself as deep as you can into Nobbins' hole,
Yep.
and anyway, yes. Bye for now. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
Good to meet
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Now, I do have to point out, Liam, that it's only just occurred to me. You had a bit of a spoiler for one of the trivia questions on your back wall there,
I did,
because
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, that is the carpet from The Shining and from Toy Story and everything.
It is indeed, yeah. This is a jigsaw puzzle that I
Oh,
put together, which took many, many hours.
that
It's
would
a
be
thousand
difficult.
piece puzzle, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And when I got it finished, there was a piece missing.
No.
So yeah, I had to contact the company, and thankfully they requested kind of what row and what column was the piece missing from. I sent them a picture, and
Mm.
I just got a little package in the post of just this one tiny little jigsaw piece that just
Oh,
fitted in perfectly. And then I
wow.
couldn't bring myself to kind of, dismantle it and put it back in the
Oh,
box.
hell
So
no.
framed it and stuck it on the wall.
Yeah. No, that looks really, really cool. And is that Freddy that I'm seeing underneath him there?
Yes. Yeah, you'll see Freddy. There's a couple of Freddys there.
Right.
A DeLorean, a Freddy
Mm.
car.
Ooh,
Freddy Krueger, like Nightmare on Elm Street, is my favorite of the slasher movies. So
nice. Hmm.
need to have some Freddy love.
Yeah. Oh, look, okay, so what were your thoughts on like the way that that franchise went? Because obviously the first film he was terrifying. He was like, and
Fantastic.
you never really clearly saw him. He was always in the shadows and
Yeah,
stuff. And then, of course, in later films, he was a stand-up comedian. Like, what were your
he
thoughts on
was.
that trajectory?
So I think it's interesting how that developed over time.
Mm,
Like you said, like the first one's brilliant. The second one is very different.
yeah.
Just the whole idea behind it, very, very different.
Hmm.
The third one out of all of the sequels is easily my favorite.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
Like Dream Warriors, just
Yeah.
fantastic. Bringing Heather
Dude.
Langenkamp back. The
Hmm.
idea that in dreams you could have like superpowers
Mm.
is so, and I think that's kind of where that trajectory shifted because
Mm.
that third one you did start getting the quips, like the
Yep.
welcome to primetime bitch.
Hmm.
And it felt like after that they just lent a little bit too far into the quips and
Mm.
the comedy,
Hmm.
but they're still just so much fun.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing with slasher movies, right? Is because it is such a formula,
Mm.
it kind of loses a little bit of the scariness. So then you just have to enjoy the
Hmm.
fun of it. And then you
Exactly.
had New
Yeah.
Nightmare, which kind of just, I think, really like just a great way of bringing back a level of, oh, I don't know what to expect
It's
here. And that
such
kind
a,
of,
yeah.
that
To me, I
opened the
think
door to
one, three, and
Scream.
seven were
Yeah.
the best of the bunch. But like yeah,
I
like
like, I'm the minority. I thought four was really fun and then
Mhm.
realized afterwards that no one else seems to think that.
No, I dug that was the first one I saw in the cinemas actually, and I remember at the time I was so obsessed with these films that I remember I was collecting like newspaper articles or just cinema ads or anything I could find that had his face on it or whatever. But like yeah, to me there's something great about every single film.
Yeah.
I love the sort of high school camaraderie of number four. Like I thought that was really cool. I loved the backstory of number five, with Amanda Kruger and the
Yeah.
asylum and everything. Like that was really cool. I love the comic book guy in number five. Like I mean, there's just and then number six. That is a weird, weird film. I mean, I remember at the time, they were sort of saying, "Oh, we're going to bring Freddy back to his original scariness and everything." And I was like, "Cool." And then the very first scene that you see is outside of the bedroom window where he's on a broom and he's like, "I'll get you, my pretty," or whatever. And it's like, "Oh, fuck, we're doing this again." Um,
Yeah.
but in that film, you had Alice Cooper playing his goddamn dad. I
Yeah.
mean, so cool,
So
and
cool.
yeah, like Breckin Meyer was cool in that. Like, there was just, I don't know, they're all fun, but yeah, I personally though, in terms of slasher characters, I lean more towards Jason. There is just something I love about the quiet, killing machine kind of thing, and
Yeah.
the look, like the hockey mask and everything. I just think is so iconic.
But I love
Um,
how like it takes three movies before you get to
yeah.
Jason's iconic look. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
there's something just quite endearing about that. And
Yeah.
I feel like with the Friday movies, I'm kind of lukewarm to the first one. Like
Hmm.
I respect what it's done.
Hmm.
Um, but it did kind of it felt like that was the movie that solidified the formula of the
Mm.
slasher movie.
Hmm.
Um, but I feel like those sequels get better as they go on
Mm.
until you get to nine. Nine, I don't know what was going on with nine. But even like Jason Takes Manhattan, which
Mm.
I feel like a lot of people don't like that because of the title, because they're
Mm.
expecting Jason in New York and you don't get a
Mm.
lot of that. So
No.
I think you just change the title to Jason Takes the Ferry to Manhattan. That fixes everyone's problem. And it's such a fun movie.
It is. It is. Like look, they're kind of shit. Like, but again, there's something fun about each one. But I've got to admit, I am a massive fan of Jason X because
Yeah,
that film knew what it was doing. I mean, when you've got like a character that falls onto a giant drill bit and spins around, then like, the other commandos or whatever come in and they're like, where's such and such? And it's like, he's screwed. It's like, oh wow. Bravo. I still
yeah,
have a fond memory of the day that movie came out because we get movies come out on a Thursday over here. I bought a ticket to the very first session that morning. I was like, I cannot wait to see this film. Went in there, sat down. I was the only one in the entire cinema for that screening. So yeah, but I loved it. I was laughing my ass off in that film, you know.
It's
Um,
I think it's a
and
missed opportunity that we haven't had Freddy Krueger in a space movie yet. Because we've done Jason,
yeah,
we've done
Leprechaun
Leprechaun
went to
in
space.
space.
Yeah, there
That was
you go.
fantastic. The Cenobites, there's a
Yep.
Hellraiser that was in space.
Hmm.
So I would love to see Freddy Krueger just in
Yeah,
a
why
space
not?
situation.
Yeah,
Well, if
yeah.
you think the whole idea of that cryo freezing when they're traveling is a
Mm.
perfect opportunity to bring in some nightmares.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Okay, so I have to ask, what were your thoughts on the remake and Jackie Earle Haley taking over the role for that one time?
I mean, I think the CGI kind of just absolutely fucked that movie. Like it was so obvious and just bad.
Mm,
The thing is, the first Nightmare is so iconic that when you're just replicating some of those really iconic scenes,
mm,
they're still effective. But it's like, what did that add? What did that
mm.
movie add
Carl
really to
Gellner.
like anything?
The
Well,
incredibly
maybe.
handsome Kyle Gallner.
Yeah, yeah. But he's been in so many other good things that isn't that.
Mm,
So
yeah. I just, I kind of think Robert Englund was so good in the role that he's ruined it now. Like no
yeah,
one can play that role. Like, anyone can play Jason. Like you've just got to
yeah,
be, built like a brick shithouse, throw a hockey mask on you. Hey, boom, you're Jason. But Freddie, like Robert Englund's portrayal of that character is so ingrained in,
yeah.
horror that you can't have anyone else play him. Yeah, that's my opinion. Anyway,
It's the same with Leprechaun. Like Warwick Davis was so
yeah.
good as Leprechaun, and when they tried to bring in Hornswoggle, I think it was the WWE wrestler
Oh, right.
for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Leprechaun
Mm,
Returns or Rebirth or whatever they decided to call it,
yeah, I haven't
it
seen
didn't
it.
work.
Mm.
You
They
don't
should
need
have
to.
got
It
Gary
just didn't
Oldman.
work. They should have done. Yeah.
Yeah, which for anyone who's only listening to this one and not the first part is going to be like, what the fuck? Why would you get Gary Oldman to play a leprechaun? That doesn't make sense.
Surprisingly, not that bonkers when you look at his career.
Exactly. Yeah, he is a very, very diverse actor. He's a chameleon
Yes,
of
I one thinking of Gary Oldman and being weird, one of the main movies I saw that I couldn't believe was a movie was Track 29. If you've
don't know
seen
that one.
that.
No.
It's also got, I think, oh, is it Christopher Lloyd?
Hmm.
I bought it, it was a blind buy. I think
Hmm.
Arrow maybe put it out, or maybe it was Indicator.
Hmm.
Uh, it is so weird. His character's so the whole movie is bonkers. It's from the 80s, Nicholas
Right.
Roeg movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Christopher
Not familiar with
Lloyd.
that
And
one.
it's just I think when you were at my house one time, I played like a trailer or a bit from it, and
Oh, okay.
it's a complete what the fuck movie.
Hmm.
And yeah, so
But
Right,
is it
right.
worth watching?
well,
Everything is
I
worth
gave it
watching.
3.5 stars. It's
Okay, so
fun.
yeah, that's not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not terrible weird.
Hmm.
It's yeah, just what the hell am I watching?
Yeah.
Hmm.
How did this get made?
Yeah, yeah. I think every
Yeah.
film is worth
Think of that.
watching
And
at
I
least
also
once.
think of True Romance because he was
Hmm.
funny in that.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite roles he's ever been in was Sid and Nancy. I just thought the way he played Sid
Yeah.
Vicious in that film was, oh my freaking God, he became that person. Sid Vicious is quite a hero of mine, so I've seen a ton of interviews and stuff. And yeah, Gary Oldman, the way he played that was just amazing. So yeah,
And
but
to tie in with our main movie, he, of course,
mm,
Dracula.
yes. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. All right. But before we get into our main movies, Frankie, what are we up to? We're gonna do some
Yeah. Reeling in the years, we're up
hmm,
to 2009.
mm-hmm,
As always, I go by letterboxed, so I can just look at what I've watched from each year. So I'm going by the years they put on it. And
mm,
2009, I apparently watched popular or bad films. So I only have a couple worth mentioning, and yeah, so I don't know if you have more than that.
I do. I go by Wikipedia. I search for films that were released. Unfortunately, though, because I do that, I only get the American releases. So, I mean, I've probably missed a whole bunch of really great things like Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter and stuff. But anyway, no, I go by Wikipedia, and so yeah, funnily enough, I've got six films.
Wow.
Yeah, that I thought were, I think all of them were underappreciated. So yeah, well, perhaps I should start this. How many did you say you had?
Two.
Two.
How
Wow.
many do you have, Liam?
I think I can probably scrape together like two or three.
Oh, wow. Wow. There you go. Well, I'm going to kick.
2009 was your year.
Yeah, seriously was. Yeah, because these are great films. I'm going to kick things off with Fanboys. Fanboys is very much a film that is catered towards Star Wars fans. So yeah, the letterbox synopsis: in 1999, Star Wars fanatics take a cross-country trip to George Lucas's Skywalker Ranch so their dying friend can see a screening of The Phantom Menace before its release. So yeah, there's you've got Sam Huntington, Jay Baruchel, Dan Fogler, Kristen Bell, sorry, amongst a whole bunch. Seth Rogen is in this film. Danny Trejo is in it. Ethan Suplee, Jamie King, my God, William Shatner, Carrie Fisher, Kevin Smith, and Jason Mewes are in this thing. This movie has so many goddamn people. So yeah, this group of absolute Star Wars fanatics find out that one of them has cancer and he's not going to live in time to see the Phantom Menace. So yeah, it's a road trip kind of a film where, as you can imagine, everything goes wrong and they've got to try and get there in time and blah blah blah. But yeah, it was a really fun film. And if you're a Star Wars fan in any sort of way, it is essential viewing because there are so many Star Wars in jokes and cameos from people, as I just said. But yeah, I am just noticing that one of you has seen this film.
Yes, I have.
And you gave it three
And I,
stars.
yeah, that sounds about right.
I was in the mood for an easy watch after a long. No, that's not your accent. I don't know what sort of UK accent that was,
You see, I
but
don't really do reviews. I use
here you
that
go.
almost like diary entries. So it's just kind of like, yeah, today was long, so I watched this movie because it was
Liam
short.
Underwood, back in 2017, said, I was in the mood for an easy watch after a long day, and Fanboys seemed like a solid choice. I enjoyed the film just fine. Sure, at times it was a little dumb, but mostly I enjoyed the references and the many cameos and the main cast. Got me in the mood to revisit Star Wars too. Also, I really like Kristen Bell in this, and that's not something I find myself saying often. And no one's liked your review. There you go. I've liked it because that's a great
Oh, thank
review.
you very much.
No, that's all right. It's what I do. Yeah, it was a really fun film. So yeah, there you go. That's my first choice. Over to you, Frankie.
Okay, this is a movie I have watched once quite a while ago, so I
Hmm.
don't really remember it, but I didn't give it anything because I watched it pre-letterboxd.
Right.
So I don't know, but it's called Suck, and it's a
Oh.
vampire movie about a band that are touring around with their manager and is she the singer?
Hmm.
Jennifer, bass player, is
Ah.
turned into a vampire.
Right.
And it also has a vampire hunter who's afraid of the dark named
Hmm.
Eddie Van Helsing.
Oh, nice.
But the main draw card probably for this film, I can't speak to. I think I liked it enough. It was
Hmm.
fine. Has Malcolm McDowell in it, but also has Iggy Pop, Henry Rollins, and Alice Cooper.
Oh, nice. How have I
It's a
not
pretty
seen
good
this
cast.
film? Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, that definitely sounds like something that I need on my radar.
Hmm.
Cool. All right, Liam, what do you
All
got?
right, so I'm going to go for a movie that I'm curious if either of you have seen.
Hmm.
Triangle.
Yes.
No, I
With
don't think so.
Melissa George on the
Yes.
ship. Yeah.
No, I
Yes.
haven't
Which
seen
I
that one.
believe it's an Australian production, I think. Um, but yeah, the sort of IMDb synopsis.
Hmm.
Because it's one of those movies, right, where it's difficult to talk about without spoiling
Mm.
it, and you
Mm.
don't want to spoil it. So the synopsis is very short. When Jess sets sail on a yacht with a group of friends, she cannot shake the feeling that there is something wrong. That's all you
Ooh.
get.
Yeah, I'm just actually the poster has got me intrigued. That is a
Mm.
really
I
cool poster.
I do remember, I
Hmm.
think Umbrella or someone has just released a fancy version of it or something. But
Right.
I remember watching it and enjoying it, but it's been so long that I don't remember what happened. So I could probably happily watch it again.
It's
Wow.
definitely worth watching.
Liam's review of this on Letterboxd is roughly the size of a novella. Um,
Yeah, that was back when I was trying to do reviews on Letterboxd. It did not last because it is hard.
And I love how you start off with there are some films that you don't want to discuss in fear of giving away the ending or a major plot twist. And then there's like one, two, three, four, five huge paragraphs.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really want to talk about this film, but let me borrow your
But
ears for about
yeah,
4 hours.
yeah, strap in. I have thoughts.
Oh, that's so great. I love that. I need to see this film. If anything, just because Melissa George is in it. But yeah, no, it's like I said, yeah, that poster design is amazing. But yeah, okay.
Is that, are you looking at the one with her holding an axe?
Yes, yes, I am. And
Mm.
it's kind of on an angle, like, and then
Yeah.
Mm.
there's blood and there's like a creepy person in the
Yeah.
reflection. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a really well designed poster.
And what I
Cool.
like about that as well is
Hmm.
so from everything you've heard about this movie so far, it still doesn't really tell you anything what it's actually about.
Oh, okay, right, right. Yeah. I love
Because I
films
feel
like
like you'd
that.
have a presumption right at the moment.
Mm.
It probably isn't entirely accurate.
Oh, okay, all right. But is it like once you've watched the film, it's all clear, or does it
Yeah.
still?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, yeah. These recommendations I'm enjoying them. My next one is a film that actually made me purchase a book, Frankie.
Wow.
I
Have you read
know.
it?
Hmm. Uh, it made me purchase a book. Okay, I didn't say this movie made me read a book. Come on. Um, no, this is Anvil, the story of Anvil. Um, have either of you heard of the band Anvil?
Nope.
Exactly. Uh, at 14, they made a pact to rock together forever. They meant it. At 14, best friends Rob Reiner, which is funny because this movie is a rockumentary, and then of course the director Rob Reiner made this as Spinal Tap, but this is a different Rob Reiner with a double B. At 14, best friends Rob Reiner and Lips made a pact to rock together forever. Their band Anvil, hailed as the demigods of Canadian metal, influenced a musical generation that includes Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax. Following a calamitous European tour, Lips and Rob, now in their 50s, set off to record their 13th album in one last attempt to fulfill their boyhood dreams. This movie is so amazing. I had not heard of this band up until this movie came out, but of course, being a metalhead, I was intrigued, and so I checked it out, and yeah, it is incredible. It's one of those movies that it's like it's almost like a real Spinal Tap sort of a film. Like there's so many things that you're just like, man, did that really happen and stuff? But you've got cameos from Slash, Lemmy, Scotty, and Lars Ulrich, Tom Araya, like from all the big metal bands. And yeah, it actually turns out that Anvil inspired all of these musicians, and it's like, how have I never heard of this band before? But yeah, amazing film, and yeah, it actually made me buy the book that was, essentially their biography, which I will read one day. Frankie and I kind of have a running thing. I'm not a big reader. I enjoy reading, but it puts me to sleep. And the only time I ever get time to read would be bedtime, where I can read for like 2 minutes and then I'm out. So yeah, the last book I read was 2017. So there you go. But yeah, no, if you're a rock fan or whatever, like Anvil, the story of Anvil is essential viewing. So yeah, highly recommend that one. Hmm.
So my other one is
Oops.
probably not underseen by the right crowd for it.
Mm.
But I just had nothing else, and I thought I need to have at least two.
Yeah.
So, Antichrist, the Lars von Trier film, I
Mm-hmm.
just saw it last year, I think, not too long ago.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't really know anything about what it was about. And it's probably what you'd expect from a Lars von Trier film.
I bought that movie, oh my God, so long ago, like maybe 15 years ago or something. I bought it on DVD, but then my friend Steve, who you've met, who lives in Canada, who visits occasionally, made me promise not to watch that movie until I can watch it with him. But that being said, that was like with an ex-partner of mine and stuff. So I think that promise is probably long gone. I can probably watch that film at some point. I'm very curious about it, especially the snip snip scene that I've
Yeah,
Mm.
heard so much about.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I saw that film at the cinema when it
Oh,
came out,
Oh.
nice.
and there is something about seeing a giant erect penis on a cinema screen that you can't quite replicate at home, quite honestly. I've tried, it doesn't work.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
That just not something you just see in a film
No,
very
there was a
often.
couple of things like that that I
Curious,
was sat
Liam,
there
were
kind
you
of
using like a
wincing.
screen casting thing from your phone or something? Like, were you like, I've, how do I settle on just one question? Um, yeah. Please continue. I got nothing. Yeah.
Well, I have a bit of a, this is going to sound weird, a vendetta about the fact that there aren't enough erections in films.
I, well, not so much erections, but male nudity is a lot less than female nudity.
Yeah, which is bonkers, right? I watched Fifty Shades of Grey,
Mm.
and would think because the target audience of that surely is a more female leaning audience because of
And
the
monkey
books,
puppets.
right?
Hmm. Long
Okay, sure.
story. Just keep going.
Yeah. Um, so I was surprised that Dakota Johnson was as naked as she was throughout the majority of that movie,
Mm.
and Jamie Dornan, I don't think you ever get to see his dick in at least the
Did he
first
even have
movie.
one?
And it, so what's the point?
It's the part on the end of no, never mind. Yeah, yes. Look, here we could start a hashtag, something I don't know, hashtag more erections in cinema. Um, I let's
That I don't know. That could end up with a load of go back to the whole
a
days of the
load.
one-armed viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this conversation's gone in a on a trajectory I did not expect it to, but I'm rising to the occasion. I've hardened up. Uh no, no, tough crowd. Cricket's chirping.
You
Okay.
just need to
Uh,
stiff upper lip.
oh, there it is. Wow. Yeah. Boing, 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 boing. So yeah, that was Antichrist with the giant erection on a cinema screen. I'm really curious to watch this film because of course you do realize so the scene where this monumental erection takes place, is it a very serious moment or
Yeah.
okay. See, I'm gonna be sitting there watching this film like when that happens, I'm gonna be like, that's
Oh,
the
well,
boner he was talking about. Um, did you did
potentially.
did you see the miniseries Pam and Tommy?
No, I did not.
Well, there is a scene in that where Tommy Lee actually has a conversation with his penis, and the eye of the penis is a little mouth, and it's talking to him and stuff, which I know sounds absolutely ludicrous, but in the context of the show, it actually makes a lot of sense. But that had a lot of dick in it.
This is going to be a weird
So
question. Who did the voice?
oh, I don't know.
Because that feels like
Um,
the sort of thing that Patton Oswalt would do, surely.
yeah, I, I genuinely don't know who did the voice of Tommy Lee's phallus in that
I
show.
I want to see if someone has that in their credits.
Oh wow, there's a lot
Did it
of
have a name or
no, just it was just Tommy Lee's dick. I don't know.
I'm
Dick?
surprised he didn't have a name for it, quite honestly.
Well, look, maybe he did in real life, but
Yeah.
yeah. But no, that was a very interesting scene. Watching Sebastian Stan having a conversation with his own cock.
Tommy Lee's penis?
Hmm.
Jason Mantzoukas.
Oh, Mantzoukas.
Mantzoukas.
Ah,
I
right.
love him. He's amazing. He was
This,
in a Zac Efron movie, Dirty Grandpa. So all
of
roads
course he
lead back
was.
to Zac.
Well, he was also
Tommy
in
Lee's penis. Zac
he was
Efron.
also in Pamela Anderson, apparently. Um, all right. Speaking of schlongs, my next one. Look.
Hey, you skipped Liam.
Oh,
That's why I only have a
oh yeah.
couple, and
Sorry,
Dan
no,
has like
I got
six.
confused
Okay.
because he was talking about Antichrist, but you talked about
Yeah.
Antichrist. So
All
yeah,
right. Well,
I'm
you can go
sorry.
anyway because you have more.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's maybe I will. This was a pretty mainstream film, but I sort of feel like it's one that not a lot of people saw, except for you two. And Liam rated it 3.5 stars. And that was I Love You Man, with Paul Rudd, Jason Segel, and a whole bunch of incredibly funny people. Peter Clavin is a successful real estate agent who, upon getting engaged to the woman of his dreams, Zoe, discovers to his dismay and chagrin that he has no male friend close enough to serve as his best man. Peter immediately sets out to rectify the situation, embarking on a series of bizarre and awkward man dates. And yeah, I just thought this film was so hilariously funny. I love Jason Segel in this as Sidney Fife. Just man, that character just spoke volumes to me. He was just this laid back dude that didn't have a care in the world kind of thing. And I just love that. And then, when he's sort of coupled with Paul Rudd, who's, very highly strung and everything. Yeah, but no, there was just so many great scenes in that film. And yeah, it was just a really feel good kind of a film. Let me see what Liam had to say about it. I haven't seen I Love You Man since it came out in the cinema over a decade ago, so I thought I'd rewatch. It's a solid cast with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel playing off each other well. There's a good balance of sentimentality and humor, although the plot doesn't offer any surprises. Still, it's an easy enough watch. Man, you and I sometimes are just on the same wavelength. Yeah, so no, I just thought, yeah, that was a really great film, and not enough people saw it. And so, yeah, that's on my list. Liam, what do you got next?
I don't know if this is underrated, but I'm going to make an argument that
Mhm.
there is a part of it that
Mhm.
is. And I'm going to say Adventureland.
Ah, yeah, I came close to adding that one, but then I realized I didn't really remember
I
So
just didn't think it was underseen.
yeah, like I
it.
don't think it's underseen necessarily.
I would
For those
say
that
maybe.
aren't aware, in the summer of 1987, a college graduate takes a nowhere job at his local amusement park, only to find it's the perfect course to get him prepared for the real world. Now, yes, I don't think the movie is necessarily underseen, but I do think that Kristen Stewart in it is massively underrated.
Hmm.
Because this kind of came out like sort of around the time as Twilight was blowing up. And don't get me wrong, I think Kristen Stewart now, incredible. Back then, she was often kind of accused of being quite one-dimensional with her acting.
Hmm.
A lot of lip biting and, looking a bit uncomfortable, kind of, that was it. Adventureland and Into the Wild were two performances from her. I was like, hang on a second. There's something here beyond what you're getting in Twilight. And yeah, she plays like the kind of like romantic interest in the movie, but there's something else that's kind of going on behind the scenes with her. Um, and this is the movie where, for me, it was like, oh, this is someone that's worth starting to pay attention to.
Hmm.
So maybe not the movie as kind of underrated, but I think Kristen Stewart's performance in it.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure I do I own that movie. I mean, I've got a feeling I do. Yes, there it is. It's up on my shelf. And I have seen it, but I don't really remember it all that well.
Yeah,
But
I It was ages ago I saw it because Jesse Eisenberg used to be my favorite actor
Hmm.
until he got knocked off the top spot. And um,
Who's on the top spot now?
Michael Shannon.
Okay.
Not Al Pacino?
No, well,
Yet.
not for
Give it
now.
time.
Yeah.
And in the next episode. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember it well enough, but
Hmm.
I do think I quite enjoyed it. I'm not overly a Christian Stewart fan.
Hmm.
I think certain movies work and some don't. Like she was in some Woody Allen movie and very not right for the role, I
Yeah.
thought. But then there's other movies that and like Love Lies Bleeding recently, she was really good in that.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
So,
really need to see that.
Hmm. Um, all right, sure. Well, I guess I'll
you're the
go
only
next
one with
because
movies.
And I
all
think I have
right.
another one that I can pull
Oh,
from.
Okay.
all right, wait your turn. Because we're about to get controversial because
Um,
I'm going to mention a movie now that I fucking loved and Liam did not with his little two-star review and things are
Oh
about to
dear.
get serious. Crank High Voltage. Liam's like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so that was the sequel to Crank, and judging by Liam's review, it was style over substance. It was a bit too much style. It was way too flashy. He's even got a hashtag How did Liam get made?
Oh,
Liam,
that's
how
when I
did
was
you get
watching
made?
all of the How Did This Get Made movies.
Right, right. Yes, that was back in 2020. You watched Crank on the 23rd of January, and then you watched the sequel on the 25th. We're on to
Yes.
you, mister. Yeah,
I
look,
have to say though that I haven't seen this film, but I generally find any movie with Jason Statham is a good time, even if it's not the greatest movie. Like,
yeah.
there's something about him, he's really likable.
Hmm. Look, I get what you're saying, Liam. I'm absolutely not gonna pass judgment on it because yeah, these movies are wild, but that
Yeah.
was what I loved about them. I loved the was it Neville Dean and Taylor, I think the director's name. Yeah, Mark Neville Dean, Brian Taylor. They just the way that they made these films, like shooting action scenes on rollerblades with cheap cameras and stuff, like it was because I have a filmmaking background, and so for me, these films really sung out to me, and I even remember looking in the behind the scenes of one of them where they built a camera mount on a radio controlled car chassis, for I think it was a car chase scene, so they could like weave it in around cars and stuff. And it inspired me to build one of my own. I actually built one, and there was a music video that I shot once where I was in a roller skating rink and I was driving this car around and stuff. And, so, and someone went to like kind of split their legs and skate over it, and she wound up crashing and breaking her leg and got sent off in an ambulance. But oopsies. But no, these films. So the first one basically involved his character Chev Chelios. He gets administered some poison. He's kind of an underworld, figure like a hitman or something. I don't know. And that film was about him trying to keep his adrenaline going in order to stay alive long enough to find a cure or whatever. And so the film was just basically about him just doing crazy shit trying to keep his adrenaline going. The second one was so Chelios faces a Chinese mobster who has stolen his nearly indestructible heart and replaced it with a battery-powered ticker that requires regular jolts of electricity to keep working. They're silly, absolutely, but I just thought these films were so fucking wild. Like, yeah, the way that they're cut and everything was just going a million miles an hour and stuff. So
Just
if
making me
you
feel tired just thinking about movies like that.
Mm.
look, if you're in the mood for a kind of movie like that that is just way over the top, Yeah, I would highly recommend these films personally. But yeah, I do get that they're not going to be for everybody. But yeah, I absolutely loved the Crank films. Um, well, look, the next one I've got on my list is a movie that Frankie had talked about, and I wanted to see, and that was It Might Get Loud, which was a documentary based on a bunch of guitarists and how they achieved their sound and stuff, including like the Edge from U2 and stuff. Um, but I haven't actually
Jimmy
seen it.
Page and Jack.
Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't actually
what? You're
seen
talking
it, so
about one you got?
but I
Oh my
really,
God.
really want to. And it sounds really good. And I did start watching it one time. I watched about the first few minutes and then had to stop for some reason. So that gets an honorable mention. But no, the last one that I do have though is The House of the Devil. Um,
Oh, I was about to mention that one.
oh, that's right. You said that you had one, and I forgot. Was that the one that you
That's
were
all
going
right.
to mention?
It was,
Well, you
yes.
talk about this one then,
No,
and
well, you go because I'll have to refresh my memory, whereas you're probably more prepared.
oh no, not at all. I
I
haven't
did
seen
think
this
about
movie in a
this one,
while.
but yeah, I've seen it once and a long time ago, and I did really like it. But yeah, my memory's a bit hazy now.
It just has a
I
very distinctive aesthetic.
Yes, the
Mm.
thing that got me about this film was that it's set in the 80s. So a young college student who's struggling financially takes a strange babysitting job, which coincides with a full lunar eclipse. She slowly realizes her clients harbor a terrifying secret, putting her life in mortal danger. This was one of those like really fun horror films. It was directed by Ty West. It might have been his first, I can't remember.
I think it was, yeah.
But the thing that got me about this film was that if you didn't know it was made in 2009, you would think this was an 80s film. Everything from the texture of the picture to the production designer, like I remember the main character in the start, had like the orange foam
Yeah.
headphones on, with her Walkman and everything. And I'm just like, man, they really went full on the details for this film. But yeah, it was a really fun time, this film. Well, Frankie loved it. She gave it 4 stars. Liam gave it 3 stars. So you guys obviously enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, no, I highly recommend it. Yeah, it was a really, really fun horror film. So
It
yeah.
also has Greta Gerwig in a
It does
small
have Greta
role.
Gerwig, yes.
Yeah.
She played the main character's best friend, I believe it
Friend.
was.
Yeah.
Jocelyn Donahue was the main girl in it. Yeah, so yeah, there you
Because
go.
what I like about House of the Devil is that was around the time when Mumblecore was kind of picking up some steam, and
Right.
there was like a whole bunch of directors that were part of this like kind of very low budget indie movement, and that's
Hmm.
kind of where Greta Gerwig sort of did her initial movies.
Right, right.
Um, and there was a kind of spin-off of that called Mumble Gore, which was like a horror version basically.
Okay, I've not even heard of
Um,
that.
yeah, and that's what Ty West has kind of come out of from that background. And I like it because it was this kind of almost community of filmmakers that would all kind of guest star in each other's projects,
Yeah,
which is
right.
why you
Mm.
have Greta Gerwig in this one.
Hmm.
But you also had like Mark Duplass at the time. That's how he was kind of getting made with his brother Jay.
Hmm.
And the other kind of big name from back then would have been Joe Swanberg,
Hmm.
who has gone on to other things. But yeah, that whole movement did produce some really interesting movies.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. All right. So there you go, everybody. That is a bunch of films from 2009 that you absolutely need to see, and one of them that I need to see as well because I haven't seen the guitar one. But anyway, that's fine. Uh, all right. Well, if I'm not mistaken, it is now time to dive into our homework films. So, um, let's we kick it off with the main one, don't we? That's what we
Yes, we
do.
do.
Yes, we do. So we are now going to discuss one of the greatest vampire movies ever made, Interview with the Vampire.
And I
Oh.
tell you what the first note I wrote down when I started watching the movie, because it's
Hmm.
been a few years since I've watched it.
Hmm.
Um, First note, Christian Slater is so hot. Every movie that especially from like the 90s, which is peak Slater period.
Hmm.
Every time I watch, I have that thought. Like he's not someone that if you said who my favorites are would immediately come to mind. But every time I watch a film and he turns up, I'm just like, all I want to do is watch Christian Slater films now.
Hmm. Yep. Understandable. Hey, look, I mean, depending on who you ask, apparently this film is just one big allegory for homosexuality, so I'm not gonna deny that.
Well, I don't know that I would say it's an allegory because well, maybe in the movie, it's kind of stated in the books.
Yeah, yeah. So of course, yes, this was a film that came out in 1994, directed by Neil Jordan, with Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, Christian Slater, a whole bunch of cool people, and based on Anne Rice's very popular novel. A vampire relates his epic life story of love, betrayal, loneliness, and dark hunger to an over-curious reporter. And oh God, I love this film so freaking much. I think this movie is a masterclass in tone. If I ever became a film teacher and we had to talk about like consistent tone in films, I think this film nails it in terms of, you know, the subdued performances in many ways, the production design, the color grading, where everything has got this sort of like a sepia tone to it. Just the music, which I'm going to mention something very interesting later on, but yeah, that's the main thing that I love about this film, that and Brad Pitt's hair, because fuck it, God damn
His
that.
hair was distracting in some scenes because it was so
Mm,
perfect. It
hmm.
was like a shampoo ad or something where
But
it's
even
like,
his bone structure, everything, like look,
oh,
I'm totally straight. I promise. But it's really difficult to like be straight when watching this film. Fuck, even Tom Cruise looked
see,
amazing.
I always think of like in the 90s, kind of like, Pearl Jam or Nirvana.
Hmm.
Like apparently you couldn't have both. Um, like it was Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp. They were like the two, and you were
Mm,
one or the other. And of course, I was Johnny Depp because darker. I actually like Brad Pitt a lot more now than I
mm.
was into him back then. And also, Louis is like the most annoying character. So, I mean, that doesn't help. But Tom Cruise, perfect Lestat. Antonio Banderas, of course, is sexy. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of like good-looking guys in this film.
Yeah. So Liam, on a scale of 1 to 10, how gay did this movie make you?
I'll be honest, like neither Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt in this movie really did it for me. Like
Wow, because
other
they're not
other
Zach.
movies. Well, obviously, I mean, if you stick Zac
Yeah.
in there, it's a completely different story. But I mean, for me, like
I
Brad
bet
Pitt,
it is if you stick Zach in there. Anyway.
yeah, fair. But like, for me, Brad Pitt probably peak would have been Fight Club days, I
Hmm.
think.
Mm.
Which is a very different hairstyle to what you
Mm.
have here, and I do think the hair, for me, really makes or breaks Brad Pitt in how attractive I find him.
Right.
Um, Tom Cruise has never really been my thing.
Hmm.
Like I think he is an amazing movie star.
Mm.
Um, is he a great actor? That's a different question.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
here, I don't necessarily think, I know there was a whole thing with Anne Rice not wanting him to be cast. I
Mm.
don't have any issues with
But
his casting of him.
but she regretted that after she saw the
Yeah.
movie and did like full page ads and everything apologizing. Because I remember hearing that and I was like, he is like the perfect Lestat.
Mm.
Yeah,
And then I
exactly.
saw that, because a lot of times people say that without the follow-up that she admitted she was wrong and he
Yes.
was really good. So
Hmm.
I feel vindicated. I'm like, yes, because he is a good Lestat. Because a lot of other people say he's a bad Lestat, and I'm like, did you read the books? I don't know. I'm not into Tom Cruise, but I feel like the way he plays Lestat is really alluring. He's got that appeal. Like there's a scene early on when he takes Louis to the bar thing and that lady's sitting with them and giving them the wine and then he
Mm.
starts drinking from her. But the way she's like, something about the wine being sweet and he's like, oh,
Mm.
but I want to taste your lips and whatever. And then he just leans towards her and the way that he moves and does that, I was just like, yeah, you couldn't resist that.
And I thought he did a really great job of being menacing, when he's
Mm.
growing tired of Louis and Claudia. Um, like he was so believable, he actually really genuinely came across as like, I'm just fucking sick of these people and like yeah, kind of, I felt him, like you do get times in your life where you're just like frustrated in that sort of way. Um,
I
I
feel
thought,
like we just don't get enough movies from him now that are
mm,
not action roles.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
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 he's like,
yeah.
if I can't risk my life for the entertainment of millions, I don't want to do it.
Mm.
Mm.
But I thought all the performances were fantastic. I love so much at the start before Louis becomes, before he turns, um, that scene where, he's just given up on life and, he's playing poker and he's just like nonchalantly throwing the cards down or whatever. And, the guy gets up, throws the table off and, takes the pistol out and Louis just opens his shirt and, you lack the courage of your convictions, do it, and stuff. And it's just sort of like, fuck, wow, this guy really means it. He actually like, yeah, like I believed the character. That's the thing. Like a lot of these characters I believed, and I only really noticed it for the first time this time around. Like I don't know why. It was just something I never really sort of paid enough attention to. But of course, when Claudia gets turned and then she's like what 12 or something. And then it's in the narration that like it's 30 years later and you sort of think, but this time around my brain clicked. I was like, oh, okay, like she's in her 40s now and stuff. And I really paid attention to the way that Kirsten Dunst portrayed that version of the character because she is an older woman in a little girl's body. And yeah, I thought she was really believable in that respect. Because in the past, when I didn't kind of focus on that, I was like, wow, she's like, you know, very kind of sexual and stuff, and or just very mature in many ways. And yeah, it was just sort of that part of my brain didn't sort of go, yeah, hey, dude, hello, she's 40 something. So yeah, no, she was great. Everyone in this movie, I thought gave a really solid performance. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, and Antonio Banderas was good enough that I could forgive the complete change from the book character. But
Mm.
I see why they had to do it because in the books he was about 15 or something when he was turned. And
Oh,
so
okay.
you couldn't put a child into that role.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, that's interesting. I probably no surprise. I've never actually read the book. Um, yeah. What are your some of your favorite aspects of this film, Liam?
Well, for me, I really I did appreciate the kind of Kirsten Dunst character and like you're saying, right, that idea of a woman being trapped. I think for
Hmm.
the age that she was as well when she was doing it, I don't know
Hmm.
how she managed to kind of pull off the acting to do
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
So that was like the element that I probably found most interesting
Hmm.
in this movie.
Yep.
But the other thing that I really noticed that stood out to me
Hmm.
was there was just something about 90s movies where you can tell that it's like it's sets, it's all practical.
Hmm.
There's no CGI or green
Hmm.
screen or anything like that going on. Like there was a real kind of tactile quality to this
Yep.
movie where
Hmm.
everything felt very like believable,
Hmm.
despite the fact we're dealing with vampires from, many, many years ago. There was
Hmm.
that kind of like groundedness to it that I
Hmm.
thought just it really stuck out to me as like, they really don't make movies like this anymore.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, and that's what I mean though about like I guess that kind of, again comes back to the production design and everything and keeping with that consistent tone throughout. Yeah, it is a great looking film, but one thing I noticed though, and I've never really picked up on this before. I knew that Elliot Goldenthal, I don't know how to pronounce his, I'm going to say Goldenthal, was the composer in this film. But if you listen to the score in this film, because this guy the following year did the score for Batman Forever. There are so many times in this movie that I was listening to the score and I'm like, holy shit, this sounds like the Batman Forever soundtrack. Um, he just, a lot of the instrumentation and stuff, he recycled, like it was almost like they just sort of recorded one soundtrack and then, straight into the next one kind of thing. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. But yeah, if you have a listen next time you watch this film, have a listen to the soundtrack. And yeah, there are just so many times where it's like, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin stuff coming into it. Um, and speaking of the soundtrack, oh, I can't begin to tell you how many times I used to love like when the sessions of this movie came out and we had to go in and clean up everyone's popcorn mess and just, being able to bask in the aura of Guns N' Roses playing Sympathy for the Devil at the end. Even though it that was around the time the band was falling apart because Slash didn't actually play on that song. They had somebody else play, which was a shame. But still, I just love that version. I'm a man, a huge Guns N' Roses obsessive, and so yeah, I used to always love that. That was cool. So yeah, what else?
Well, so Frankie, you've read the book, right?
Yeah.
So what do you prefer out of the two?
Hmm.
I prefer the movie because,
Ooh,
um, yeah, whenever I reread the books, I skip the first one because I've seen the movie and Louis sucks. And so I go on
literally.
to the second one, The Vampire Lestat, where Lestat kind of rebuts against what Louis said and then also tells his own history, and then the series continues from there. And yeah, I don't like Louis. So, and I think because Anne Rice wrote the screenplay and was involved in the movie, like I think it is quite faithful to the books in most ways, the book rather. So I don't feel the need to read it because the movie is so in my brain that
Mm,
it's fine to just step in and continue on.
hmm. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting because a lot of times it tends to be the book is better than the movie.
Mm,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think because yeah, I just really like the movie. I like Tom Cruise as Lestat and Antonio Banderas as Armand, who I now think of when I read the books, and then I have to keep going, oh, wait, Armand's actually like a 15-year-old with curly auburn hair. So, but he's one of my favorite characters. So I'm happy to just picture Antonio Banderas instead. But yeah, I think yeah, it tells the story enough, and it's in Louis's voice, whereas all the other books are, or most of the other books are Lestat kind of narrating, and yeah, Louis just a he's just annoying. He actually kind of isn't a huge character in the later books because he just kind of wants to go off and like disappear and be on his own because
mm,
he's mopey. So, you know, yeah.
mm. Did you ever regret that they didn't, continue the book series like with these actors, like direct sequels kind of thing?
It would have been cool to, well, see, it would have been fun to have the vampire Lestat because the history, like the story of him was interesting. Like it
Hmm.
tells a lot of his life because it is true, like he says in the movie, like the one who made him just like made him and then disappeared. So he just had
Mm,
to like figure out stuff.
hmm.
That's one thing in Queen of the Damned that was really annoying is they changed the story of who made him and made it Marius, who's a just completely different character that Lestat spends a lot of time searching for.
Right.
So stuff like that. But
Mm,
yeah, I mean, to get more Tom Cruise and Banderas would have
mm.
been, and Christian Slater,
I was
because
gonna say,
he
yeah.
he comes back in the books. He becomes a companion for Armand. So he
Ah,
does like come back into the series later on.
yeah, right, right.
Because the whole
Um,
thing, actually, I'll leave that for the spoiler section.
fair enough. I also thought Stephen Ray as Santiago, I
I
thought
was
he
gonna bring
was,
him up. I was just looking him up to see what else I knew him from.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that character was really cool,
He was
Santiago.
so super creepy weird, like not kind of over the top, but just enough to be like surreal, I guess is a better word.
And
Like,
yeah, and very theatrical, which was
yeah.
fitting for the character because they were,
Mm,
running the
yeah, yeah.
theater.
But that's what I mean about this film. There's so many nuances that I've just always loved. Like the first meeting between Santiago and Louis in that tunnel. And like that moment where he sort of appears around him and knocks his hat off, and just Louis' scowl, like, you fucking what? Like, it's just such a brief little moment that,
It is
whatever.
one of the more memorable
But that's what,
scenes
yeah,
that I
that's what
think
it's
of when I think of the
stuck in my
movie.
head forever. There's so many things about this film that I just thought they absolutely nailed. I didn't end up giving it a perfect 5 stars on Letterboxd. I gave it 4 because I did kind of feel there were some scenes that felt like they dragged maybe a little bit in terms of sort of the overall energy of the film. Particularly, when Louis Lestat and Claudia go to Paris. It was Paris, wasn't it? Yeah. And yeah, there were just some scenes there I just kind of, like felt my attention wandering a little bit, but then you sort of brought back like there were some really cool moments which we'll get into the spoiler stuff, but yeah, so it wasn't quite a perfect film for me, but and of course now every time I listen to the score I'm just expecting to see Val Kilmer appear in his bat suit, but yeah, I'm not kidding. Next time you listen to it, it's there. Particularly, there's like a sort of a shrill, sort of like a woo kind of a thing that that's not going to say anything, but it happened in the with musical instruments, and they do that in this film as well as those films. So yeah, anyway, there you go. Yeah. What else? Is that
Do
all
you
we got for
know
this one?
that
Or?
I saw this movie because my mum took me to the cinema
Oh,
to see
okay.
it?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what rating it has, but I wouldn't have been old enough to go on my own.
Mm.
So it must be the case if she wanted to see it. And
Hmm.
because I don't remember, oh no, I probably would have seen Lost Boys by then, maybe.
Mm.
It was probably the same year.
Mm.
But yeah, so I don't know if I suggested we go or she asked or what,
Mm.
but yeah, that's pretty cool.
See, this movie just to me it just represents the so Liam, I don't know if you're aware, like to me, I still live in the 90s. Like to me,
Yeah.
that decade, it was the peak of music, movies, fashion, freaking everything. Like I am a 90s obsessive, and I was fortunate enough to work in cinemas and video stores throughout pretty much the entire 90s. And so this was like the second year I was working in a cinema, and I mean, God, that year, we had Pulp Fiction, The Mask, like I think Ace Ventura came out that same year, I think. Just so many iconic 90s movies. I mean, Clerks came out that year as well, which was the film
Yeah.
that inspired me to get into filmmaking. So yeah, I've got such nostalgia for this film.
So,
Um,
so you know how like it feels like in the last, I don't know, 10 years, there's been a lot of like 80s throwbacks and
mhm.
kind of like a lot of reveling in 80s nostalgia.
Mm.
Did you happen to catch the Netflix show Everything Sucks?
Yes,
No, I've heard
that
of
was
it,
good.
but yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was again like a 90s throwback.
Mm.
Does have Sydney Sweeney in it, but
Oh, I forgot she was in that.
she's really good
So,
in
because
it.
that
But
was
I mean, I don't.
before she was a thing.
Hey,
So,
I
Yeah,
I am willing to accept that there is probably stuff that she is actually good in, and I will happily check it out. It just so happens that the two things I've seen, and I thought her performance was absolutely dreadful. But so yeah, I am open. It doesn't change the
yeah.
fact that she looks. Anyway, please
yeah.
keep going.
But yeah, so Everything Sucks has that very 90s feel to it,
Yeah,
in a
right.
way that felt really good that I was hoping would be more popular because the
Mm-hmm.
90s was like the decade that I kind of grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that very like fondness for just that style.
Mm.
And it would be nice if we started getting more kind of throwbacks. Like I feel like we've done enough with the 80s.
Mm,
And I'm
I feel
hoping like
like I
kind of,
want.
yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
continue. I was
No, no,
just
no, you
going to
go.
say I would like a show at the level of Freaks and Geeks, but
mm,
like for the 90s, but
hmm
like
Yeah,
that
that would be
kind
good.
of quality, good show with really good, funny
mm.
writing and stuff and great
Yeah.
characters.
You know what I absolutely hate though is that meme that went around that I just every time it came up I kept scrolling. The If you take into account the year we're in now in 1995, that was the same amount of time that Marty McFly went back from
Yeah.
85 to 55, and it's like, wow, we it just blows my mind that, when you look at the difference between 55 and 85, then you look at the difference between 95 and now, it's not that huge. And so, yeah, I don't know, that just always fascinates me. But yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. Like, this film and just a ton of others, like, was just, yeah, just so 90s for me. So I will always absolutely love this film. It kind of bothers me because I was like, yeah, 5 stars. And then I watched it, and I was like, yeah, 4 stars. 'Cause
I will say though that this has a lot more lower ratings than I expected it would have when I
Mm,
looked it up on Letterboxd after watching.
right, right.
I rated it, well, I gave it 4.5, so it's
Mm,
quite high, but
yeah.
that's more than like anybody that I follow
Mm,
and a lot of the reviews and everything, and I just don't know why.
mm.
Well,
Because I thought
I
this
I
was one
have
of the big films of the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I haven't got around to rating it yet, but when I do, which will be
Hmm.
soon, it's probably gonna land like a 3 stars for me. Because like again, it's one of those movies where there's elements that I like,
Mm,
but also there was a few moments where I felt my attention kind of wandering a
mm.
little bit, where it's just like dragging here and there. And
Yeah.
again, I'd like you're saying, where you wanted it to be a 5, but it was a 4. I kind of
Mm.
feel the same way. I wanted it to be better than it ended up
Right, right.
being.
Yeah. No, that's a fair call.
I
But I've
mean,
noticed.
it's maybe a case again of my fondness being bumped up by all the sexy men in it. Just adds
Yeah,
sexy
can't argue with
vampires.
that. Yeah.
What if Al Pacino was in this film? Ah, yeah.
Would have been
Anyway,
interesting
it would have
being
been
it's
interesting.
a bit 90s
Yeah,
version.
yeah. All right. So yeah, so I think we can all agree that we loved it in various degrees. Um, should we talk about The Wall next? Because of course the other one's a
Yeah,
two-parter. So
then yeah, the big finale.
all right. So getting into The Wall, which was the movie that I kind of made Frankie watch. Um, yeah, this is a really simplistic film. Came out 2017, directed by Doug Liman. An American sniper and his spotter engage in a deadly cat and mouse game with an Iraqi sniper. That's it. This is one of those minimalist films that I love so dearly, where it's just one little location from pretty much one actor. Um, and I just thought they did so much with it. I thought for me, it was really intense. It was interesting. The tension was quite high throughout. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. I am now seeing that Frankie didn't love it as much as I did, but she didn't hate it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I just want to say this is Doug Liman, who I knew the name, but I
Oh
had to
yeah.
look to see exactly which films he directed. But
Hmm.
I mean, Go, Roadhouse, the new Roadhouse,
Mm,
The Instigators, The Edge of Tomorrow.
mm. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which
I
I
haven't seen that
loved.
one.
Oh, I thought that was
So
so good.
lots of good films, and The
Yeah,
Bourne
yeah.
Identity, which I've seen, but I don't
Mm,
remember
mm.
um, which one and what I thought of them individually. And then Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I'm always interested because I loved him so much as Tangerine and Bullet Train
Yeah.
that even though no other role I've seen him in has stood out, like he hasn't, had the same presence that Tangerine has,
Hmm.
he's still someone that I will always go, oh, it's him, and
Hmm.
watch the film. So
Hmm. So what do you
Um,
think of this one?
it was interesting. It was, I thought it might be a bit different based on your tense throughout comment. I
Mm.
didn't feel that. I thought there
Okay.
were certain moments
Mm.
that were tense, but um, yeah, I wasn't feeling that the whole way through.
Right, right.
But
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
it was interesting. It kept me guessing of how things were going to go
Mm.
because trying to work out with the conversation that they're having
Mm.
where it's leading to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Liam, this is your first time watching it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to do some research beforehand. I just didn't get around to doing because I
Mm.
literally watched it earlier today. It feels like the sort of film that I've seen before.
Okay.
Just think that idea of kind of like it being your one location with one person kind of being antagonized on like a phone or a radio or something by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I've seen, and I can't. It's one of those things where it's like scratching at my brain where I can't place
Do you
where
know
I've
now
seen
Right.
it
that
before.
you've said that though, I've just thought there's that movie that's just come out with Bill Skarsgård and his name's escaping me, where Bill Skarsgård breaks into the car and then gets locked inside, and the other guy's doing the voice through the radio, and he can't get out of the car because the other guy's controlling it.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know about that one, but that's got me intrigued because I love these kind of movies.
yeah. I mean, I
Um,
guess you've got like Buried as well, haven't you? With what Ryan Reynolds,
Ryan
but
Reynolds, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
similar idea, right? Where he's
Mm,
talking to someone at some point, I think. To a lesser extent, like Phone Booth.
hmm
So I'm sure there's one that's a little bit more specific, but I just can't
mm,
place it. So
right, right.
that was on my mind. A lot of it. I wanted a lot more John Cena in this.
Mm.
Um,
He's so great, isn't he? He's just up there with my favorites.
he's yeah. But yeah, like I liked it
Hmm
enough, but I wouldn't say I loved it. I kind of
Okay,
landed
that's
kind of
fair
middle
enough.
of the road with it.
Yeah, yeah, right. No, see, yeah, like I said, I'm just such a huge fan of anytime someone can do so much with so little, you know. I mean, I know it's a completely different type of film, but you know, it was one of the reasons I loved Clerks so much, you know, was because
Yeah.
Kevin Smith made this film in a convenience store, just, you know, with a bunch of people like, and it to me was so brilliant, you know, because at the time, you know, I always sort of thought like, oh, you know, to make a movie, you need like, you know, millions of dollars, you need heaps of people, locations, all of this sort of stuff. Here comes this guy who just makes this incredibly funny film, just, you know, set like that with pretty much two people, and I'm just that just changed my whole life. You know, I was like, wow, you can actually make a decent film with hardly anything. And so, yeah, I've always been a big fan of those kind of films. Did you have you seen a film called The Disappearance of Alice Creed?
No.
Oh, that's another movie that I'm so desperate for Frankie to watch it. It's basically about a this woman played by Gemma Arterton who gets kidnapped by these two criminals and you know sort of chained in a room or whatever. And like yeah, it's the three actors, the one location, but she winds up kind of manipulating the two of them against each other and stuff and there's a whole bunch of twists and turns, and the biggest twist is at the very end when you actually find out what the title of the film really means. Like it's so cleverly done. So yeah, I just love films like this, and yeah, so for me, you know, this one, yeah, just this the whole concept of being pinned down behind this shoddy wall where you could just get shot at any moment, you know, that was the tension for me, you know, that was yeah, that was where that came in, but I can't wait to talk about the ending in the spoiler section because this is obviously something that's very divisive amongst
Mm.
people. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. But anyway, is that pretty much all we've got for that movie? All
I think
right.
so.
So, in our previous episode, after I had forced Frankie to watch Bloodsucking Freaks, which was a movie that she wasn't very fond of. So she decided to get some revenge by giving me some choices of movies. Actually, one of them I would have really much rather watched,
Yeah,
but
it wasn't revenge in that um, all the movies were the same level of High School Musical and
yeah.
in that to your taste. I just picked three that I wasn't trying to cater to your interests.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I got duped into High School Musical,
Mhm.
which as soon as I heard what I had to watch, I was just like, oh, thank Christ we are moving house, and I'm probably not going to get a chance to watch this movie for a while. But yeah, but look, I'm going to hand it over to Liam to talk about what this movie is and everything. So yeah, take it away, Mr. Expert. You got the
Well,
big E
okay,
for expert on your shirt.
that's what it's for, not
Yeah.
for East High.
No.
So this was a kind of Disney Channel original movie. And I'll be honest, I missed it when it first came out. I probably was about 18 or 19 when I first watched this,
Mhm.
which is probably a bit too old to be watching High School Musical for the first time as
Dude,
a
I'm
heterosexual
52.
male. True, that's fair point. But you were kind of coerced into it, right? This was just me willingly of my own volition.
Mm.
Um, and I have a very distinct memory of being up at like 1 in the morning. It's when everyone keeps talking about this High School Musical movie. I grew up watching Grease. I loved Grease, and I was like, this feels like it's like a Disney version of Grease in a way.
Mm.
So I went into it just a bit like, all right, we'll see what it's like.
Mm.
It completely blew me away. And
Mm.
I remember I had to be up early the next day. It would have finished at probably about like 3 a.m. And I immediately was like, oh, I now need to go and watch High School Musical 2. Like that's how good it was. Straight into it. Now this was before the third one had come out in the cinemas, which I did go to the cinema twice to see.
Oh, it got a
Um,
theatrical release, did it?
the third one did, yes.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. And you can
Hmm.
tell like there is money on screen in the third
Okay.
one.
Right.
Um, but we'll get there.
Hmm.
But yeah, so the first High School Musical, it's that classic tale of, a holiday romance during a New Year's Eve party where
Hmm.
we have Troy Bolton, the high school basketball star, um, meeting Gabriella Montez.
Hmm.
Um, and they hit it off at a party that neither of them particularly wanted to be at. And, after the new year ends and they go back to high school, lo and behold, Gabriella has just transferred to East High. What are the chances? And it's a movie all about stereotypes and how we should stick to them.
Mm.
I will
Um,
just say, I just looked up my diary entries. This kicked off the Zac Efron project. So it was January 2019. I watched the first movie on the 13th, the second movie on the 13th. So I did similar to you, but it wasn't 3 in the
Yeah.
morning. And then I watched the third movie on the 14th. So
oh
I watched
wow.
them all in a weekend.
Yeah.
So I had the same effect on me.
Yeah, you just want more with these characters, right?
Mm.
Mm. Look, my history with this film was I was working in a video store when it came out, and I remember it coming in and me, putting the sticky labels on the covers and everything and looking at it and going, my God, I will never watch this movie. I just the cover of it just looked so freaking fluffy and saccharine sweet and everything. And I'm just like, yep, no, I'm going to avoid this movie for my whole life, which is why when Frankie was like, yep, this is what you're watching, yeah, I sort of was contemplating suicide, but so I
I do
very
remember when I first started watching this, I think the song they sing together at the New Year's thing,
mm,
I don't like it and I've never liked it. And I remember starting that and going, oh, what am I gonna have to watch? But then the
Mm.
second song is Get Your Head in the Game,
Mm.
which I think is one of the best songs of
Hmm.
all the songs. So then I
Yeah.
was like, okay, it's not so bad. And then when
Yeah.
I watched it this time, I thought, oh, it's a sports thing.
Hmm.
Dan is very anti-sports. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, I forgot. I didn't really think about the whole basketball theme. I
Mm.
mean, it's not about
Yeah,
basketball,
exactly. It's not
but
central.
you know, there's still sports stuff in the
Yeah,
movie.
but no, it was fine. Look, yeah, wow, I started so threw the first one on, and I was just like, oh my God, this acting is just so weird. Like everyone's kind of overacting, but it it worked. Like in the context of, because yeah, like I didn't even realize until just recently that it was a TV movie, I
Yeah.
think like because it came up at the opening credits or something, like a Disney Channel movie and stuff. I actually thought these were theatrical films. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then so yeah, I'm watching this over the top acting and stuff, which wasn't too over the top. It was just that kind of fine line. And I was like, okay, I get it. This is what the director was going for. Like, he obviously was coaxing that out of people, but getting them to restrain it from going too overboard. So I thought, okay, like that's fine. I'm with it. And then, yeah, that first scene where, Troy gets lured up onto the karaoke stage and he's like, no, 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 I can't sing or whatever. And, they get Gabriella up there and stuff. And all of a sudden they're just like, absolutely professional singers. And it's like, oh, fuck, what is this? Like, like, okay. So I kind of thought maybe it's going to be one of these movies that's so bad it's good. But look, I got to the end of it and I was like, it was all right. Yeah, like we were talking about it before with Nobbins, and I ordinarily probably would have given it 2.5 stars. Like for me, 2.5 is a movie that I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. If ever I had to watch it again, fine, put it on. I'll give it a go. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again. So to me, that is what an average movie is. And I was almost going to go into 2.5 with this one, but then I kind of thought, like, yeah, I'm a 52-year-old man. I'm like, I am not this movie's target audience. And so I sort of kept that in mind. And I thought, look, yeah, if you're, 12 years old or whatever, and you're, like into Zac Efron's six pack, then it's probably a really good movie. So like I put it as 3 stars because yeah, I was being objective about it. So yeah, and look, I'm not gonna lie, like yeah, Vanessa Hudgens. I know she was only 18 at the time of this, but yeah, wow, yeah, that was enough to keep me going.
Yeah, I mean that was a big draw for me as well when I
Mm,
first watched it. I will say, as time has gone on, I still think Vanessa Hudgens is great, but I've also really warmed to Kelsey, the
mm.
composer.
Oh yeah, right,
Um,
right.
I think she's fantastic,
She was really
and
cool.
yeah, and I do like how over the top Ashley Tisdale is
Yeah.
as Sharpay. Like, there's just something
Sharpay
about
is
that that's
great.
really fun. Yeah, she's such a
Yeah.
fun villain, and I
Mm.
love that she never learns her lesson. Like, because these movies, like at the end, it's like, and we're all friends now, and then the next movie, she's back to being a bitch.
Mm. Yeah, like she annoyed the hell out of me at first until, yeah, I kind of started tolerating her. I thought she was better in the second one, but we'll get to that obviously in a little bit. Yeah.
But it's interesting because you mentioned giving it like 3 stars. Now I've
Mm.
logged this movie 7 times
Hmm.
on Letterboxd, and I've had a bit of a journey with it because I've watched it before I started even logging on Letterboxd. I think at first I was also kind of like I didn't want to admit how much I liked it. So I was like, yeah, it's 3 star, 3.5 star. So
Hmm.
I see what's going on here, Dan. I see what you're how you're feeling. And it's one of
Hmm.
those movies that I kept thinking about and just circling back to, and I'd watch it again. I'd be like, do you know what? That's a little bit better that time. 3.5
Mm,
stars. I'd watch it again.
right.
4 stars. And it just got to the
Mm.
point where it's like, I've seen this movie 7 times and would happily watch it an eighth. It has to be a 5 star movie at this point. Like, I can't
Oh yeah.
deny my love for it anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what you're saying is I'm going to end up with an East High School shirt eventually,
You never
and
know, potentially.
yeah. So
Potentially.
there was another.
You can get your cutout to go with Margot Robbie.
Oh fuck. Yeah. So that was another thing as well. Like, when it opens on the school, it's like East High School. I'm like, that is the most unimaginative name for a school I've ever heard in a film. But whatever. Like, keep going. But yeah, no, I didn't absolutely hate it. And I mean, when Frankie sort of half jokingly said I should watch the second one in order to talk about them. I was laying there in bed last night. It was only about 8:30, and I kind of thought, you know what? Fuck it. Like, yeah, I could probably see, you know, where these characters go to next. So
And what I
yeah.
love, Liam, is the review you left where you had a friend visiting who had never seen the movies and
Yeah.
you made a drinking game.
Yes, that was with Ellie, who I used to co-host the
Oh, that
podcast
was,
with.
and drinks to be consumed when someone yells, "What team?" Someone says Wildcats. A cell phone rings. Sharpay hits on Troy. Sharpay is a bitch. Troy and Gabriella share an awkward moment. And oohs or ahs or ums are sung.
Oh
So
my
I
God,
guess
you're
you
Yeah.
gonna end
guys
up in
got pretty
hospital.
trashed that night.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
we
How are you
attempted to watch all
alive?
we attempted to watch all three of the movies. Um, we didn't make it through the third one, and I do remember that that was the night where the next morning I woke up in the bathroom with vomit on my glasses.
Was it yours?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it
At least
was.
at
But
least you hope it
yeah,
was.
it was a very messy night. It was also after we watched the first one. We were already drunk enough to obviously had it on DVD.
Mhm.
So the first time I watched it, it was like a real dodgy kind of. I found it on a website where it's like you could stream it.
Mm.
Then I saw there was a DVD where the first two came in a little locker with a key with stickers that you could put on it. So I obviously had that. It was fantastic.
Mm.
And on the DVD as an extra where it teaches you the dance to We're All in This Together. So after the first movie, we were kind of drunk enough to think this would be a good idea to watch that extra and try and learn the dance,
Oh wow.
which didn't go particularly well. And
No.
then the decision to carry on watching the others was made and continue drinking.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
you could have just picked like the what team as the
Yeah.
one thing
Mm.
to drink on, and that still would have been a lot.
Oh
I think
God, would
there's
it
also
ever?
there was one, I can't remember if we did it or not, but it was just whenever Ryan is wearing a hat,
Yes, I
and that
did
just that
notice his hat
Really?
collection.
that's excessive, yeah.
Actually, the thing that got me, the first time you see him, and he's got that, I don't know what style of hat it is, but it had the two brown squares on it. But the first time I saw him, I actually thought he had a pair of underwear on his head because I thought that was his hair and the two leg holes. And I was like, why is this dude wearing undies on his head? And then they had a closer shot. I was like, oh, right, no, it's a hat. But every time I saw him afterwards, I kept imagining him with undies on his head. So yeah, that's just how my brain works, though. So yeah. Um, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, Frankie was like, "Nope, you got to watch the second one." So yeah, the general consensus, I'm guessing, is amongst people who love these films is that the second one is a vastly better film, right?
I initially struggled with the second one. I didn't think it was as good as the first
Ooh,
initially.
because that's why it's got 86% on Rotten
I
Tomatoes.
um I feel like my how much I like it depends on my mood each time I watch it because I know the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, there's all the drama.
Hmm.
Because the second time I watched the movies, I just noticed the year after in 2020, I watched all three of them on my birthday. So I just had a
Wow.
thing.
That's a great
Um,
birthday.
Is it though?
Yeah, for my 30th, I had a Zac Efron themed birthday where we watched the three High School Musicals, Hairspray, and it was the year that Greatest Showman came out of the cinema. So I went to the cinema and watched that.
Right.
I had a Zac Efron birthday cake that had Happy Birthday Liam on it. Zac Efron cupcakes. We played High School Musical 3 Mystery Date, which is a fun board game where you can try and date one of the characters. Um, that's how I celebrated turning 30, like any adult man would.
Yep.
That's a fun party.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I can't judge. I've seen Ted Pryor's penis numerous times, so yeah, long story. I
Very random.
I
Yeah, but what I was saying,
oh yeah.
um, yeah, the first time I watched it, I thought it was less interesting because of all the drama and everything. I thought the
Mm,
songs were better, but it was less interesting. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, this is my least favorite last time, but now, um, like I still loved all the songs, but then the things that annoyed me the first time didn't bother me that
mm,
time. Whereas this time, I think I was a bit more the other way again, where I just got a bit annoyed about Troy being jerky and all that stuff.
That's the
right.
problem with the second one. Well,
Mhm.
so for me, one of the reasons why I initially decided to watch the first High School Musical is because I like coming of age movies and I like them when they're set in American high schools.
Mm,
So and I like musicals. So it's a trifecta for the first one. The second one, by not really being set in a high school,
mm,
it kind of lost some of that allure for me. You only
right,
get
right.
what time is it in the high school, and it's just like I want more. And then you go off to the country club and all that sort of stuff, and then, like Frankie said, you have Troy just being a massive dickhead,
Mm,
and it's almost painful watching a character you love so much behave so terribly. And yeah, like he learns his lesson by the end, but it's still a painful process watching
mm,
that.
Yeah, the flip side is we get to see more of Ryan
hmm.
and
Yeah.
we get the I Don't Dance song in the
That's my
baseball diamond.
favorite song in all three of them.
Oh wow. Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
it's up there for me. I don't know. I have to watch the third one again because there's some great songs in the third one.
Mm,
There
So,
are.
but yeah, I Don't Dance is definitely the, although you also have the most what the fuck musical number in this, which is that Hawaiian themed
Yeah,
one, which with
yeah.
the
What the
title I
hell was
can't
that?
say. And I'm
Numa
Yeah.
like,
Numa Numa,
did,
whatever it is. Yeah,
yeah, did Zac Efron even need to act? Because like his
Yeah.
expression is probably what everyone's expression is watching that.
That
yeah,
yeah. Look, I preferred the second one to the first one because yeah, see, I don't have that investment with the high school setting, and so I appreciated the fact that they did something different. It
yeah.
wasn't just because I was kind of expecting like, okay, here we go, like, another rehash of the first movie, but yeah, it wasn't, and I kind of dug that. I did think that yeah, it felt like I've seen this movie 100 times before, like, you know guy, gives up girl for something else and, starts acting like a dick to the friends and then spoiler alert, I mean, God, you can see it coming, has a massive turnaround.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the issue though, right? Is you do have Troy just behaving very un-Troy-like, and
Hmm.
I really disliked the scene with his dad, where his dad sits him down and is like, well, yeah, these are your friends for now, but you've got to look out for number one, right? You've got to like
Hmm.
hunt down those college rooms. And it's just like I get the message that he's trying to convey there, but it feels also very out of character for Coach Bolton to
Yeah,
be
right.
kind of saying that.
Hmm.
I mean, yes, I do think overall the music is better in the second one, but there is one song that's repeated like three times. And yeah, we get like different styles of it.
Hmm.
Um, like I do quite like the stage production where all of the like jets of steam and stuff are going off, and
Hmm.
you've got Troy there just again looking very confused as everything's kicking off, and Sharpay's
Yeah.
just doing her thing and stealing the show. But that's like the third time we've heard that song in the movie, and it's
Hmm.
just a bit like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for a new song now.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Side point,
uh
I do find that I always prefer the up-tempo
Yeah.
versions of the songs. When Troy and Gabriella sing them, they're just kind of boring. And then when you
Yeah.
get Ryan and Sharpay or Troy and Sharpay doing the more upbeat versions, definitely better.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I yeah, there was something about the ending of the film of the second one, which we'll get into in the spoiler section, that kind of bugged me a little bit. But yeah, we'll talk about that. But look, yeah, overall, I don't know. I just thought there was kind of more to it. I also kind of felt the second one was a bit less fluffy than the first one because like the first one was just like everyone's so happy and nice, and even the bad guy or girl is kind of entertaining and fun and yeah, which
There's some
usually
great
doesn't really
scenes.
appeal to me. I like dramatic conflict and stuff, and that didn't really give it to me. But again, if you're after that kind of movie, it's perfect. Like, so yeah, I couldn't be too harsh on
And
it.
there's a Deadly Prey style scene in the first movie where, in Deadly Prey, where the camera's following people and then it
Mhm.
pans up and he's just like right there sitting
Yeah.
in the tree. Did you notice the bit in the girls' bathroom?
Yes. Where she's around the corner and it was Sharpay,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Walks in
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and looks in the mirror and everything, and she would be right there next to her.
Yeah.
I did notice that. I also noticed in the first one when there was a teacher at a whiteboard, there's a comment where so the teacher wrote something like 38 over or 32 or something over pi, and Gabriella says, shouldn't that be 16 over pi? Now, have a look in that scene because when it cuts back to the blackboard, it suddenly says 8 over pi. And then in the next shot, it's back to 32 over pi. So I noticed that as well. I'm very good at picking up continuity errors, Mr. Liam.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes from like a lot of time spent behind a camera. But yeah, the number changes between shots. So there was that. But yeah, no, I did notice the Deadly Prey moment because, yeah, I was kind of like, yeah, she's not very well hidden. Because yeah, I was like, she's going in and like she kicks the door, and then I sort of noticed. I think the last cubicle had the door still shut, but I thought, okay, she's obviously in there. But yeah, that was a bit silly. But yeah, that's why it didn't get 5 stars from me. Uh,
You just have to
um,
watch it like another 6 times, and then
oh,
it
fuck
might be a
off.
5-star film for
No,
you.
like I said, look, if look, Liam, if you came to visit Australia, like the three of us all ended up at Frankie's house or whatever to play with her cats and look at her Al Pacino collection, and you guys were like, you know what, we're gonna watch the trilogy, and I wouldn't say no, I'd
Yeah.
be like, fine, throw it on. I'm okay with them. Vanessa Hudgens, fine. But yeah, I'm not gonna be sort of sitting there thinking to myself, man, I really want to. I really feel like watching a musical right now. Which one am I going to choose? No, I think I'll go La La Land. Yeah. So yeah,
High School
no, I didn't.
Musicals for when you want to watch La La Land, but you want to be happy.
Yeah.
Oh
Because
man, that is
I
perfect.
still haven't got back to watching that. I love that movie so much, and
Hmm.
Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling is so good together.
Hmm.
But because of the sadness in it, I haven't
Hmm.
been able to bring myself to watch it
Yeah,
again.
like it's a great movie, but it's unsatisfying.
Mm.
Fair enough.
And do you know what's worse though, Liam, is when I was talking to Dan about it, I
Here we
had
go. I knew
skimmed
this was
some
coming.
reviews and I had hints that there was, something a bit unhappy about it. And I said to
Yeah.
Dan, what is this movie gonna upset me? And he's like,
Oopsies.
no, it's not sad. So I went into
Oh.
it thinking this is not going to be a sad movie. And so stuff starts happening and I'm like, it's going to be fine. And yes,
Yeah,
then
they'll
it,
figure it
it
out by the
destroyed
end.
me.
In my defense,
Yeah.
it had been a really long time since I'd seen it,
Yeah, but you didn't
and
say that. You very confidently told me it's not sad.
yeah, I just couldn't
Because
quite
that,
remember
if it
how it
had a
resolved.
different ending, like it would be perhaps one of the most perfect films ever made.
Mm.
And now it's hard after such perfection to then
Mm.
to then it's like villains.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Different
that's
Well,
fair
style.
enough.
I think on
So,
its own terms, La La Land almost does have a
mm,
perfect ending. It's just,
Mm,
it's not necessarily what you want from a musical.
yeah.
mm. Yeah, no,
It's
that's
that
fair
yeah,
enough.
it's a really good movie, but it's just
Mm,
not what I would have done.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, fair enough. All right. Do we have any final thoughts on
Well,
High School Musical?
are you at all interested in watching the third
Oh
one?
yeah, yeah, okay, that's a good question. I am genuinely interested in finishing the trilogy, so I will eventually watch that one.
If you had to guess, what
Mhm.
do you think happens in the third one?
They
Bear in
go to
mind, the full
space.
title is High School Musical 3 Senior Year.
Well, it's set back in a school,
Mm.
no, or college in space. Because we love movies when they go to space.
I should have done it in space.
Yeah. No, look, I think it will be about how Troy and Gabrielle are back together, but Troy goes onto the internet and finds the leaked Vanessa Hudgens nude pics and
Mm.
is like, "Oh my God, how could you do this?" and stuff, and that causes a lot of tension. And then she's like, "You know what? I'm just going to embrace this life." And then she becomes a stripper. And am I on the right track?
Surprisingly, some of that is accurate. In that there is a lot of tension between the two of them,
Ah, well, there you
just for
go.
a different reason.
No, I genuinely can't, and nor do I really care to think about where it goes. I'm not that invested in the films. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, no, I will eventually check it out. Like, yeah, probably soon.
Mm.
Just,
Because you want
while
to
I'm
keep
on
the
this
first two
thing.
fresh in your mind.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I really do. Yeah.
But what you don't want to do is be like, oh, I'm in the mood for the third one, but I don't remember the first two, so now I have to rewatch those. And then you might start finding that rating is bumping up.
Well, that's another reason why I did give the first one three, is because I've got a feeling it is the sort of movie I probably will remember down the track. Yeah, yeah. Well, they did a fine job of making these films for 12-year
So
olds. So yeah.
do we think the moral, particularly in the first one, is a good message to be putting into a movie?
Uh, what was the
Because there's
moral?
a
It's
whole song, right?
yeah.
Stick to the status quo,
Oh yeah.
which is
Mm.
basically like find your niche and don't venture out of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was
And that,
surprised when I got to that song again and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that they have that. It's kind of like um Troy realizes he likes singing and sings, but then you have like that song saying that he probably shouldn't.
yeah.
Hmm. No, I'm a big fan of the message that, you shouldn't be pigeonholed into what people expect of you. My God, yeah, I actually, yeah, really kind of resonated with that whole sequence. Because yeah, I think people should be true to themselves, and do what they want to do and be who they want to be and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, I think that was quite an important message.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it just sounds like you love the movie, quite honestly.
Yeah, well,
It'll
if
come.
that helps you sleep at night, then you go ahead and think that.
Yeah, it
Um,
will.
Yeah. All right. So this is the part where we talk about the before we go into High School Musical spoilers.
An
Well,
interview with the vampire
well, I
spoilers.
know, but I just think it's hilarious that there's spoilers for High School Musical. Where we talk about what we're gonna be discussing on the next one. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Frankie, what's
So
gonna be our feature film?
it will be Final Destination
Hmm.
because it's time to do a rewatch of the franchise
It
before the new
is.
one comes out next month. That's come up quick.
Oh God, is it? Wow.
Very, very excited to see the new one. So
Yeah, yeah. No,
I
yeah. That's
As much
that's
as, yeah, like we said last time, whenever we were talking about the trailer,
mm,
the fifth film had the perfect ending for a franchise, but
mm,
because this one looks quite, the way they've tied it in seems like it'll work to not spoil
hmm
that ending on the fifth one,
yeah, yeah.
maybe.
And we are now going to be breaking tradition. All this time, the whole time we've been doing this, we give each other we pick three movies that we want the other person to watch, and we go and find a brief review or whatever, and we basically give each other a cryptic sort of choice as to, pick a movie based on the reviews. We're no longer doing that though, are we?
No, because I hate it. It's
Yeah.
too much effort to find
Oh,
good
it is
reviews that
absolutely.
don't give things away.
Mm. So you've actually physically put your choices into a popcorn bucket. I did not get enough time to do anything like that, so I have gone to textfixer.com/tools/randomchoice.php, which is a random choice generator, and I've put all the titles in that I want Frankie to watch, and I'm going to pick one for her, and you're just going to have to trust me. I mean, I can film it and put it in as an
That's
insert
fine.
or something, but yeah, you believe me. All right, Frankie, would you like to pick
Okay.
what
I
movie?
have about 60 films in here because
Are you serious?
I had a letterbox list of movies to show you, so I've just written most of them down. Well, I mean, let's keep this going.
14, 15, 16, 17. I've got 18.
Have one.
Oh, what could it be?
You will be watching. It's it's a rom-com.
Right.
Music and lyrics.
Oh,
With Hugh Grant and Drew Barrymore.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know of that film. I have not seen it, but yeah. No, I'll give that one a watch. I like Drew Barrymore. I used to hate Hugh Grant back in the 90s. I just thought he was like, oh, he was just the same person in every film. Just had this stutter and everything, and like it was, yeah, I didn't like him. But I've grown accustomed to him now, so that's fine.
This is
Um,
older Hugh Grant anyway, so.
right, right.
Well, he's
All
done some
right.
really interesting stuff recently, like Heretic.
Mm.
He
Yeah,
was
which I haven't
particularly
Yeah,
seen,
good for
but I'm
that.
very keen
that was
to.
really good.
Yeah.
All right. I am now going to click the random choice button. Ooh, interesting. All right. You are going to be watching, again, on a theme of Disney movies, 1979's The Black Hole,
Ah,
which is a movie that when that came out at the time, I was more than obsessed with. And I won't get into that now. I
yeah.
will talk about it on the next episode.
I've
But
heard
yeah.
lots of people talk about this, and it's been on my list for ages. I meant to watch it as soon as Disney Plus started here, and
Hmm.
that was how many years ago now? I
Yeah.
still haven't got to it yet.
Have you seen The Black Hole, Liam?
I have not, no.
Ooh, okay. No, I caught this film in the cinemas in 79, so I was like, what, 5 or 6 years old, and no, probably six. And yeah, it's for a kid's film, it's got some really dark shit in it. Like it's yeah, the kind of stuff that you kind of like, wow, they got away with that at the time. But yeah, no,
Wow, so we got some two horror films and a rom-com. So,
I wouldn't call it a horror film.
well, it's got dark things in it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I meant. Not
Um,
like full-on horror.
yeah, but no, that's oh my God, I can't wait to talk about that film. Excellent. All right. Well, this is the part where we're going to jump into spoiler territory. So for those of you who don't want to hear any spoilers about The Wall or The Vampire or the musical, we're going to love you and leave you. This is adios. Until next time, stay safe, watch lots of movies. Bye for now. For everyone else who wants to hear some spoilers, then let's go. Alrighty, so Interview with the Vampire was the first movie that we discussed. Yeah, you guys got any spoilers you want to mention on this one?
I
Okay.
I found the demise of Kirsten Dunst's character. I can't remember her
Claudia,
name.
yes. Okay,
Claudia.
you've stolen my
That
spoiler.
yeah, that was heartbreaking.
It
Like
just came, it
that.
was a shock, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that method of killing a vampire as
Yes.
well
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like I love that you sort of see the initial like agony that they're in and everything. And then when you see the aftermath, it's just like,
Yeah.
whoa, that is
Like
absolutely
that
hardcore.
lady picked the wrong night to become a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I thought that was fascinating as well. That like, yeah, she was so keen on being a vampire, and it's like, surprise. Um, yeah, I guess the only other one that I could think to mention, I did kind of like the ending, where Lestat pops up in Christian Slater's car, like and that whole sort of dialogue exchange and everything I thought was cool. Um, but it
Yeah, it always makes me laugh with his still whining Louis and
yeah,
then
yeah,
turning it
yeah.
off because I'm like,
Um,
yeah,
But the only problem with it
sucks.
was that, especially at the time when it first came out, it was kind of like, oh, great, we're going to get to see more of this, and then we never did. So, yeah, so it was a bit of a disappointment in that respect. But,
Well, I guess
uh,
it's just more the that he is still surviving and
yeah,
can't come back to his top form.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, yeah, the Claudia death thing that was the only real sort of spoiler that I had. Did you guys have anything else for that one?
Don't think so.
No. All right, The Wall. What did you guys think about the ending? Because wow, like,
Yeah,
did
I was
you?
trying to pick which way it was going to go because
Hmm.
I had read where you said you loved the ending,
I
and
love the
that
ending.
random review I found of someone saying it was like absolute shit ending, and
Hmm.
I was like, which way are we going here?
Which way
Because
did you go then?
well, I thought it was going to end how it made you think it was going to end, and I was like, oh, we're getting this ending, and then
Hmm.
of course it went the other way, which is what I expected it to
Hmm.
do before I got
Yeah.
confused about which way I was going to go.
So of
But
course, for those who are curious, yeah. So John Cena's character Matthews, he gets a moment where even though he's like near death, he uh, gets a moment to kind of sneakily possibly take out Juba, the Iraqi sniper, and you think, okay, like, cool, maybe he's killed him. And so then when Isaac gets rescued and they go off in the helicopter, it turns out that Juba wasn't dead, and he freaking shoots everybody down, and everybody fucking dies. And yeah, I don't know. Like ordinarily, when I go on a journey with characters and everything, like I prefer them to live at the end, but there was just something so ballsy about the ending of this film that I had to love it. Like, what did you think, Liam?
I tend to prefer your ballsier endings,
Hmm.
but I it felt so out of place in this movie.
Okay, right, right.
Like it felt like it was more there to shock than it was like an ending that felt
Hmm.
particularly earned.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
And I think I would have, for me, I would have preferred a bit more ambiguity to the ending.
Hmm.
Like I think
Okay,
there's
yeah, yeah, right.
a potentially better place to end it, which is
Mm.
where he's standing there and the helicopters are coming.
Mm.
But I was kind of watching that, being like, well, I'm still not convinced that the sniper is dead, and the fact that he's
Hmm.
standing there just waiting to see if he gets shot or not.
Mm.
I would have liked it to have ended there, where you've still got that question that's kind of lingering.
Ah, that's interesting. Actually, oh wow, that would really work. Because I'm a big fan of ambiguous and yeah, endings. So yeah, that would have actually been a really good place for it to stop. You're absolutely right about that. But yeah, look, as it is, I do get what you're saying about how it did sort of feel like maybe it came kind of from out of nowhere or whatever. But yeah, but no, I still dug it. I don't know. Yeah, just like I said, just it was unexpected as well. Like I remember the first time I saw it, I thought, okay, like obviously Isaac's gonna live, but yeah, he did
Yeah,
not.
because I didn't believe the sniper was taken out.
Mm,
Yeah.
But then when it kept going, I was like, is he? Yeah, so that ambiguous ending would have been good because I
mm,
was thinking that at the time, but then it kept going. And
mm.
then, yeah, the shooting started, and I was like, yep, there we go.
I was sad that Matthews died. I actually,
Yeah,
like,
same.
yeah, I mean, maybe because it was John Cena, I don't know, but yeah, I thought that was a shame. But
I
anyway,
liked how sudden it was though. Like it was just really
yeah,
quick.
yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Um, okay, so the only thing I was going to mention with High School Musical 2.
Yeah, what's your spoiler? Because I didn't think these were the kind of movies to have
I
spoilers.
know, but I kind of thought it was a bit so, at that final song number where, Troy miraculously learns an entire song in like 5 minutes and then is out singing it. Again, this is why they're not five-star movies for me. And then yeah, like I mean, where it's gonna go, but there's no, or did I miss it? Was there an explanation as to how or why Gabriella came back, or did she just
Well,
manifest out of thin
I think
air?
Ryan was working on things because he had that
Yeah.
look when he told Troy and when he spoke to Sharpay. Like, that they just all
Mm.
arranged it as a surprise. I don't know why Gabriella agreed to do it, but
Exactly. There just sort of seems like there should have been an entire scene before that or something. Like, I kind of felt that just was very rushed. Like it just sort of like, boom, here she is. Like, oh, okay, what? Yeah. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do I
I will
know?
say, I
I'm not an
think
expert.
that my least favorite songs in all three are the Gabriella solos.
Right, right.
But the second one, she doesn't really have a solo, right? She's got to go my own way,
Mm.
which Troy kind of joins her in.
Mm.
That such a good song.
Hmm.
So yeah, I agree. There should have been like a scene or something that explains why she maybe came back.
Mm.
But I was happy to just believe that, something behind like off camera had happened and
Yeah.
it all
well,
made
maybe
sense.
how there was the things of like Kelsey seeing stuff
Mm.
and reporting back to people. So
Hmm.
maybe everyone was just like, hey, Troy's actually figured it out and is being normal again. So let's come
But see, that's
surprise
that's the
him.
thing. I'm hearing a lot of maybe. I'm hearing a lot of, maybe
Well,
this,
I mean,
maybe that,
I'm
but
not in the movie. I don't know what conversations the characters were doing off screen.
hmm yeah. So yeah, that I don't know, that felt a bit weird to me, but look, that's all I've got as far as spoilers go. Like, I don't know. Because they're pretty
There's,
predictable movies, really,
yeah,
aren't
there's
they?
not the kind of movies that it's going to matter if you know about stuff
Yeah, yeah,
beforehand.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Oh God, absolutely.
If
Yeah.
anyone, I hope some people now might think, well, I wasn't too sure, but all these people that didn't think they would like the movie watched it and found out they liked it. So
Mm, yeah.
maybe other
And
people do the same.
what I will say as well is after watching the three movies, genuinely, and I know this sounds like I'm just making things up, but the TV show on Disney Plus, High School Musical, the musical, the series,
Mm,
is one of my favorite shows that I've watched in the last, I'd say, 5 years.
wow.
It's
Yeah.
because what they do is it's about the real. It's kind of it's all scripted, but
Hmm.
it's presented as like a mockumentary kind of thing, and
Right.
it's about the real East High School putting on a stage production
Ah,
of
okay.
High School Musical.
Hmm.
But the songs in it are incredible. Um, it's yeah, it's for me who likes that coming of age American high school setting, it
Hmm.
just ticks those boxes perfectly.
Hmm.
But I think it's 4 seasons in total, and apart from the last season, which I have a small gripe about,
Mm.
they are all fantastic.
Right, right. Well, I will watch the third movie. I don't think I'm going to commit to a TV series, especially with the limited time I have
Yeah,
for
you don't really
shows.
watch TV.
No, 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 exactly.
Liam, while we're on the subject of High School Musical actors, have you seen the movie Dancing Ninja?
Mm.
Yes, yes, I have. Or I think on my Blu-ray, it's Street Dancing Ninja.
Yeah, I have seen that poster around.
Yes,
Mm.
it's fantastic.
That was a great film. Yeah.
That's one of those movies that I just blind bought it. I found the DVD on eBay and watched it. Couldn't believe what I had watched. And so I was talking about it to Dan, and he got
Yeah.
intrigued by how insane it
I
sounded.
think
So
the reason why I
made him
picked it
watch
up is because I saw you talking on Twitter about it,
it.
and I was like, well, clearly I need to watch this.
Mhm.
So I haven't gone quite all in and watched like all of Lucas's films. Like I think you've seen, if not all of them, most of them, right?
Well, they're kind of harder to find things that he's done. I've seen some of them. Like there was also that vampire one.
Yeah, I think I watched that as well, based on your
I Kissed
recommendation.
a Vampire. That was pretty
Hmm.
fun. And because eyeliner in that one's always a good thing. I've seen, oh no, he's in like some Halloween Town films, but I've only watched the first one. I haven't watched the ones he's in yet. And he was in an adaptation of Little Woman, and that's all I've seen. He's apparently in that movie Milk.
Mm. Yeah.
The Sean Penn one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a Disney movie called College Road Trip. And the one I want to see, because it also sounds ridiculous, is one called, oh, it's not loading. Um, Food Boy, The
Oh,
Adventures of Food Boy.
wow.
That sounds brilliant.
And it's from 2008. And yeah, it just looks ridiculous.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there is College Road Trip, but he is fairly far down the list. Ventures of Food Boy, he's the main character. But that's not available anywhere, so I don't know how easy that will be to find. So yeah, he hasn't done a lot of films.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So he's done,
But
looks like he's done a bit of voice work.
he was in the second season of High School Musical, the musical series.
Mm.
Sorry, second season of what?
High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Oh, right. Yes, yes, of course, of course. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here because we've been talking for 5 hours, and
Yeah.
my God, that's a long time to be talking.
It is 5
Um,
a.m. in the UK.
Yeah. Thank
oh,
you for hanging out
hardcore.
with us so long.
Yeah,
That's all right.
Liam,
Thank you for
thank you
having me.
so much. It was absolutely amazing having you on here. We're going to have to get you back again down the track
We need like
for
another
for
like bank holiday weekend.
yeah, yeah, just for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Because yeah, it was really cool having you on here. So yeah, all right. Next episode, which will hopefully be like on schedule from now on. We've got Final Destination, we've got music and lyrics, we've got the black hole. It is going to be more fun than you know what to do with. Once again, thank you very much, Liam. And yes, thank you everyone. If you actually listened to all 5 hours or whatever of this podcast, you are the real hero in this. So go Wildcats. God damn it. All right, we're out of here. Stay safe. Watch lots of movies. Bye for now.